Hey guys and girls, just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Buzzsprout. Start a podcast today with free podcast hosting for Buzzsprout, easy podcasting software for hosting, promoting, and tracking your podcast. Buzzsprout is the best way to publish a podcast online for secure and reliable hosting to full iTunes support. Get started for free, no credit card required, cancel at any time.
Stats are for losers.
That's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is.
You play to win the game.
Welcome to the Airin podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Airing It Out podcast live. Hi, I'm Dustin Marion. My partner in crime is Hollow Clutch. What is going on, Hollow?
Trying to stay sane in this insane world. That's what is going on right now. But before we get to any of that stuff,
Tell me.
I'll be going to Puerto Rico.
What? The Shango? When you going?
Yeah, I'm going Tuesday, March 30th.
I'm so jelly.
April 6th.
Nasty.
So it's gonna be an experience. I want to see my great grandmother.
Nice.
She's 89. She'll be turning 90 in August. I will be going again in August, but I just thought 90 is hitting that time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got to see her as much as possible.
100%.
And she hasn't met my youngest yet, so I'm excited for her.
So
to
you're
meet
taking
the
the whole
youngest.
team? Taking the whole team?
Yeah, the whole team is going.
How much
going
was
for a
your
week.
round trip from NYC to? Are you going to San Juan?
600
For everybody.
for everybody. It would have came out a little bit cheaper if I would have bought it like a week or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
But my girl's bullshitting and all this nonsense. It cost me another extra $100. So
Don't you love them? Thank God they know how to
hate-
fucking interior decorate because god damn, shit.
because I was gonna come to like 490 and then all of a sudden
Wow. So
for
round trip was like $90 a person type of shit.
kind of yeah.
Dang.
And then it went up because we kept waiting. She kept telling me, "Yeah, we're gonna do it this way. Let me find out on my job." And I was like, "You know what? Fuck this!" And I just paid for it.
Nasty. I wanted to ask you. So where? Because I'm assuming they're campesinos. So you landing into San Juan or you landing into?
No, San Juan.
Right, and then where are you driving to in Puerto Rico?
Arecibo. So
Nice.
it's
Okay, cool.
basically
What, like
35
30 minutes?
minute drive.
Did you rent the car as well, or are you gonna have somebody pick you up?
No. My godmother's gonna pick us up in the car. I don't, because I'm gonna go again. So when I go again, I'm gonna rent a car because supposedly more families gonna go and stuff like that. So I'm gonna get a house and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, because I think it's important. You know, the funny thing about Rico, it's pretty easy. It's either west or east. That's how they break up the whole map. And I think it's dope to have a car just because there's so much. Like you can literally do the whole island. You know what I mean? Like there's so many different parts you can go see. But that's awesome, bro. And I think Arecibo, if I'm not mistaken, has fluorescent bays. So if you guys do some like snorkeling or something like that, you can go see some lights in the water and stuff. That's kind of cool. Maybe where you take the misses and stuff. I spent a lot of time in Rico. I was going to move there, but the hurricane shit is no joke over there.
No joke. But the funny thing is like that, people, it only happened once ever, whatever. But just the possibility it could happen again has people on the fences.
It's shook as fuck, bro.
Yeah, because you never know. Because that was a category 5. Whatever category 9 comes through, you're done, kind of thing.
I think there was an earthquake that just hit New Zealand, bro. Like I'm good. I'm already worried about other shit. I don't need to add more shit. The thing that I do find fascinating about Puerto Rico is some of their entrepreneurial like tax laws.
Yep.
Like
you
if you
give
make
up supposedly you give up your right to vote,
Mm-hmm.
but you get a bunch of tax breaks, and tax benefits.
Yeah, I know a couple guys. That dude that you talk about all the time, that's on Rogan.
Which one?
The guy that talks about minimum wage, and he's like usually the money guy.
Peter Schiff.
Yeah, he lives in Puerto Rico.
Yep. Logan Paul supposedly moving there.
Really?
Too. Yeah. He's moving there. Also, I know another guy who I watch on. His name is Jason Capital. He lives in Puerto Rico too right now. So you get tax benefits.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about doing it because I want to open up a restaurant, and I was thinking about doing like a Cuchi Frito meets brewery type of concept.
Okay.
And I would, if I went forward on that, I'd probably go like for a month or two because the food in Rico is crazy, bro. Like the lechon. I mean, back to what we were saying last week. The fried shit is crazy, but they actually do some really killer like sashimi, which is fire.
Copy.
You know, so Puerto Rico's got a lot of cool things, man. It's kind of local. They deal in dollars. You don't need a passport. You know, and it's a beautiful place.
You just need to do the stupid COVID test.
Oh, tell me. Okay, so we go in.
So you got to
take tests.
Yeah. So So going, you have to have a negative test 72 hours before.
Okay.
You get on the plane.
The whole team, right? Even kids.
The whole team. Yep.
And then,
which I find dumb because what if you get it at the airport? Like,
well, you would test negative if you got it at the airport, right? Because it has to. There's a 14-day incubation, supposedly time.
But what I'm saying is, if you get at the airport for whatever, let's say you get at the airport, and then you get on the plane, you're positive on the plane, but your test showed negative because you showed 72 hours before anyway. So like the whole process is stupid.
It's kind of silly. And then you got to test positive to come back too. 72 hours again or no?
Negative. I don't think so. I don't think so coming back. But I gotta recheck that. But I know leaving you have to get it. But it's just dumb. I'm happy Texas said you could all suck a dick. We opening, no mask mandate, the whole 9. They like
mask
full
off.
Business, full
fucking mask off.
Back to normal. Florida just said you could all suck it. Florida's like, we not closing nothing down.
Homeboy's an
no
animal.
Restaurants. Yep, I respect that guy.
He's savage. He's savage.
And his craziest thing is that all these old people moving to
I know that's crazy too. Yeah.
Or live in Florida.
They have a huge senior citizen base there, so you would think that their numbers would probably be way more alarming. Which I know it's not on our agenda to roast homeboy, but man, a lot of people give a lot of shit to Donald for how he handled it. But I would like to go a little bit smaller in that thing. I think everybody, the way they handled it in New York was terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I mean, because some of these, New York is small. Obviously, the population is huge, right? But Florida is a huge state, and they had it under control. Texas, again, maybe huge population. Not such a huge population, but bigger state, under control. Back at the ranch, New York, by square footage is smaller. You would think it would have been easier to maintain, but I think between de Blasio and Cuomo, man, they were just
trying to measure who got the biggest dick.
It was unreal.
The issue. They were trying to say, yeah, I have a bigger dick than you, and I have a bigger dick than you. Police don't do nothing for the protest. Then this guy send the whole old people back to the senior citizen home.
That was crazy.
Like, again, the what makes it look bad is not that he sent them back, because for the most part, nobody knew in the beginning, so I can't completely crucify him for it. It's the other little nonsense of threatening people, kind of undertone, like the things he was doing behind closed doors. Now he has a lot of sexual allegations coming out against him.
He's going for money. Bing.
Yep. Me Too's coming for him.
Yeah, so for sure.
You got all that culminating into a big thing. Because I don't think anybody handled it perfectly.
No, not at all.
Because it was
hard.
To be honest, Florida handled it kind of perfect.
Yeah, they said fuck it, let everybody get it, or let anybody.
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right.
So people in New York, since he was trying to appeal to the base, and the base of people were going to hold him accountable, and he got scared and panicked. I think
you're talking about NYC guys, right?
NYC guys.
Yeah.
So I think he came through because he was doing a press conference every day at 11 o'clock. Everybody thought he was he was next in line for 2024 president of the United States, because he was saying the numbers, saying this and saying that, and it came off as a show. When you look back at it overall, it was like a show now.
I was upset that, first of all, we got people technically dying, right? We got people in Ziploc bags just tossed in the street, tossed in the back of trucks, being mass burials, right? And you making jokes with your brother on TV. I'm like, bro, this is not a sitcom. This is real life shit. And I thought it was silly. I believe he works for CNN. I thought it was silly that they even entertained that. That you how and this is just a side note, but when you're a police officer and you're involved in something, you can't investigate your own crime. Right?
Yeah.
Why would you be able to interview your brother? They should have got someone else so it looked like it was, at least fair. Because your brother, if I was interviewing you, I'm going to tee you up. I'm not going to fucking throw you under the bus. You know what I mean?
Somewhat of transparency.
Yeah. There's no way he's not going to be real and asking him hard questions when they're brothers, right? I'm not going to make my brother look bad. I'm going to make my brother look the best. Especially if you're talking about he's going to be on the 2024 ticket. We got to make this motherfucker look golden. Now coming back to the situation, we realize that, of course, sexual allegations, I'm not surprised. It seems like everybody has a mistress. We need to come to grips with this, ladies and gentlemen. Politicians, they have multiple sex situations going on. Now, is that okay? Is not okay? That's not the issue. The issue is that it's going on. But my thing was more alarming was that he was fudging numbers. You can't be doing that shit. That means if you fudge those numbers, then that means who else was fudging numbers, right? Because New York is supposed to be the epicenter of the world, and if dudes are in charge of lying there, then the dudes in charge could be lying everywhere, right? And that's a little scary. That you telling me only 15,000 died, but maybe it was more like 30 or higher. And we'll probably never get to the bottom of that, because in this country we can't like go after politicians. Politicians don't go to jail, no matter what they do. They just lose their seat or they can't run again. It's almost like they get a bulletproof vest, but once the bulletproof vest is used, it's like a fucking parachute. They could bail out. And I thought that many things Trump did right, many things Trump did wrong, right? We're not going to measure what the list was. I thought that instead of him doing it by a state-to-state and local basis, this was when the United States needed to step in and say, no, we're doing it our way, right? Because then everybody started fighting for supplies. Everybody started lying. I think that was probably something that sent this country more into pandemonium. And to swing it back to what we're saying so we don't move too much up topic, it was good to see places like Florida and Texas say, no, we ain't going to do none of that shit. We're going to do what we think is best. And what's best is not social distancing and more mask. We're going to do herd immunity, and we're going to see what happens, because those were the only two places that really, executed on that front.
And it's sad because it's always the red states. It's mostly always the red states. Like, everybody wants to talk shit about Republicans and white people, but that's some bullshit. If you use your brain and have logic, it's easy to make smart decisions, and that's what they did. And I respect them for doing that. They did it the right way. They looked at evidence. There's been evidence of older like pandemics or certain outbreaks where they didn't shut everything down. Because when they shut everything down, they noticed that when you shut everything down, everybody's home, everybody's on top of each other. If you're in especially in the cities, you live in apartment buildings, and everybody's gonna be home, as opposed to when a regular work day, when everybody's out doing what they got to do. Kids are in school. You have everybody on top of each other, and touching doors, freaking elevators, handrails, staircases. Shows that more people get infected by viruses and diseases when you have a lockdown. So it hasn't shown what people want it to be. It wasn't that. Now, if the numbers bared, hey, if you get this virus, there's a 50% chance you're gonna die. I think that's when it calls for concern. Like, everybody needs to isolate and quarantine. But that wasn't the issue. It was 90. You got the virus. You were 99.99999% sure to survive the virus. And it's unfortunate, and I don't want it to sound callous or sound like we don't care about people who lost people to this virus. But that's just what it is. People were going to die to maybe the flu, or they were going to die to the regular common cold, or they were going to die to a heat stroke. Like, those are things that are just going to happen. And people got to just live with that. And it sucks that it comes across that way, but that's the only way we ever going to move forward as a society.
Well, I thought also too an interesting situation is like, okay, so now we only care about people that die of COVID, right? What about vehicular manslaughter? What about murder? What about all these other things that people die from? And it's almost like all those numbers take a back seat. And I know that COVID was obviously fast acting, but I also do believe that the medical fields should have been held accountable too. Obviously, we have realized, that ventilators weren't saving people's lives.
They're killing them.
Everybody was banging on their chest like, we need ventilators. We need ventilators. Like, what? Obviously, that hurt us more than it helped us. I mean, we had poor Elon Musk talking to people in China, trying to fucking switch his whole automated field to try to build these things. And this is what was killing us. So, like I said, back again, not to lose sight of what we're saying, when you're using a playbook, because we love football so much, when you're using a playbook of 100 years old, I mean, obviously, even in the playbook, when they opened back up in that, original playbook, people got sick again. The numbers went crazy again. So, like I said, it's really hard to be in these positions and make executive decisions. But I know for a fact that there was shenanigans being ran around, and a lot of secret meetings and a lot of all this other stuff. And we're here. using tough words to describe the situation, but I'm sure that there was people in charge that didn't even care what they were doing. They were just trying to protect their own. But hopefully, this thing seems to be coming back around. So I wanted to bring up one of the things that was on our list to kind of look into. I think we just hired a new head of education under the Biden administration, and they want to open up schools immediately. What are your thoughts on that?
Baby Jesus, please open the schools already. Open the school. It makes no sense that you got less than 150 kids to 200 kids under the age of 15 who've died from this virus. It just makes no sense that they had the schools closed. Now, I think there should be precautions for, let's say, elderly teachers. I think they should still wear, even though I don't think masks work, but whatever the case may be, if they make them feel safe, okay. But for the kids to not go to school, it just makes no sense. It just makes zero sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think that was the biggest thing about it, right? Like, potentially the kids were carriers, but they weren't infected, and them spending time with their grandparents, who are usually the babysitters for a lot of these families, or being put with the elderly, which a lot of the teachers, which is a really strange thing too, that we haven't kind of been progressive in that movement. And it always sounds like, I have like this random hate for seniors. I love seniors. My grandmother just passed. I'm super heartbroken about that. But this is another thing that comes up, another levy that was broken. Like, we have not given any money, right, to education or to the educational institutions. So why would young people want to work for these systems, right? Where maybe it can make things a little more safe, right? Or maybe you have classrooms where the teacher's teaching a class from a Zoom, right? But the kids are in the building, right? Or maybe we do some crazier thing where it's kind of like high school and they do a couple of classes different ways. But I don't know. It looks like that's what they're headed. They're talking about April is at least in Mother Cali. That's the direction that we're going for. What's the news on your guys' front? When are they trying to open up for you guys?
If I'm not mistaken, I heard that they might send out a survey to see if kids want to go to school. I mean, parents want to send their kids to school or do full remote or still do the hybrid system, which I think any parent who chooses the hybrid system, just an asshole.
Why that? Why do you think that?
Because the hybrid is just send the kids to school for a couple of days.
Right. No, I know.
Week, but I just think that's dumb. Send your kid your kid has been basically home for a year.
Right.
Let's say for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
Kids need to be with other kids.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%.
And for your own selfish reasons and your paranoia, you're not letting your kids go to school because of that. You're not letting them go to school because they need to go to school. You're not sending them because you think that they're going to catch the virus and something negative is going to happen. Guess what? When you put your kids in your car, there's a better chance of them dying in a car accident than from getting Rona at school. Or putting them on a school bus. They have a better chance of dying in a school bus accident than getting the Rona from school. So people don't understand that. People just want to be like, oh, there's a virus. I'm scared. I don't know what is going to happen. And the media doesn't help. And we've spoken about this numerous times already too. So because you got the mom, then you got the grandmother bothering the mom, then the mom bothering the dad. The dad don't give a shit. Most of the time, men just don't care. Like, I don't wear a mask if I don't have to wear a mask. My girl's father doesn't wear a mask if he doesn't have to wear a mask, and he's 65 and he don't give a fuck.
And you said he caught it or he didn't catch it?
And he caught it.
Right, yeah.
He caught it. He had like 100+ fever, but he's fine, and he just don't care now.
Did he go to the hospital or he just stood home? Right?
No, he stood home.
Right.
He stood home.
It seems like the motherfuckers that went to the hospital didn't come out.
I think because in the beginning, again, they didn't know what it really was.
Right. Yes.
Like and I do applaud the kind of, I know it could look selfish on the part of the world, but the fact that a lot of nations came together and ruled out a lot of things fast. So like it might have looked bad in the beginning, like March, of putting people on ventilators. But if the world didn't work together, who knows? Maybe by July we would have still had people on ventilators, and those people would have still died. Would have been dying too.
I agree.
So like it sucks that whoever died on the ventilators early, died. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure the mathematicians or whoever was working the death numbers. So wait a minute. All these people on ventilators keep dying at a high rate. It's like, yo, stop that shit completely. or some doctors so when you put anybody who has breathing issues on a ventilator, they were dying because there was some doctors who refused to put their patients on ventilators. So they kind of saved their patients' lives.
100%.
Those guys are unsung heroes.
Yeah.
That, are not getting discussed.
Yeah. Shout out to Andrew Yo, right? Yo, is it Yo or Young? I mean, not Andrew Young, not Andrew Young. What's the Michael Yo? Michael Yo's doctor didn't put him on it. So at least that there were some people out there that were like, hey, if we put your body on this, your body's going to stop doing what it normally does.
And to think about it, the psychological effect of the doctors who put the people on ventilators and that died.
Yeah, no, that's got to be brutal.
And then you find out a couple months later, like, hey, the reason why they died is because they were on a ventilator. So that's a whole nother psychological thing that who knows what's going to happen down the future with other doctors who might make a mistake, inserting something else or operating on something else. Like you just don't know yet, the ramifications of this. And I just felt like the public was ignoring just the basic human rights of like child abuse. Like people didn't care. All right, kids are getting beat at a higher rate because they're home. All right, fuck it. Let's still stay locked in. Like shit like that. People say they love, they want to love and protect their kids, but you should still have the same moral compass for your own kids that you have for other kids. Like if you hear other kids getting beat or raped or hurt, you should be like, all right, we have to try to fix this situation, because that's what was happening. Women were getting more beat. Men were getting more beat too at a higher rate because they were just around each other. Yeah. But
isn't that
the
crazy?
Society we live in.
They talk all that stuff about us being together and love and all that shit. But the more we're together, the more problems emerge, right? Like you need breaks from people. You need breaks from your kids. You need breaks from your wives. You need breaks from your husbands. That's what the dynamic works good. But you lock people up and throw away the key. Your patience starts to go to zero. I want to get back to the hybrid system. See, for me, this is my thought. My thought is, okay, look, I get that we want to accelerate the opening, right? Now, I'm not 100% sure on the statement that I'm about to make, but I think all the private schools are open. They've been open, right? If you pay for them. And we're talking about specifically public schools opening, period. This is what I think. First of all, do you even know? I feel like they don't even have a real program. They've been trying it. They put plastic. They have, I've seen on certain things, they got like little like globes that they put the desk around. I'm like, okay, look, take the next 3 months and come up with like a realistic executable plan on how you're going to put all these kids back. And let's just shoot for September. Like, I feel like now we're going to start rushing to get all these people in. And I don't know if we have anything in place to protect, let's say, the elderly teachers or anybody else. Right now, like, my missus has been stressed out ridiculously with this school shit, and it's stressed me out, and it's brought our relationship to some brinks and craziness. But we talked about it recently, and I was like, look, why are you going to drive yourself more crazy to try to now implement a new system when we're like 2 months away from summer? Just wait to just leave the shit the way it is, but work on. And also, if there are parents, like you said, they're going to send out notices. All right, let's say they talk to Parent Hollow. Okay, you're down. So let the kids, the parents that feel comfortable with it, let them go back in. Maybe there could be a dry run or a practice run. Let's say out of the whole pie, you get half the kids back. You manage that. And then the September that comes, maybe you can put in the whole thing. Because it's crazy to think in public schools, what is a classroom? 30 kids? Right? How many more teachers are you gonna? Right? Yeah. How many more teachers are you gonna have to hire if now you make the classrooms 15? Because I don't think they're gonna go back to 30. Right? So that's another thing they gotta figure out too. Like, do you have enough personnel to handle bringing in, like, basically the teachers? I feel bad for them too. I feel bad for the administration and the teachers because they all had to do remote, even the parents. And now to go back the other way, it might seem like a whole radical thing because you almost forgot what it was like. Because people are, in my opinion, are very muscle memory related. If you're doing it every day, it comes easy. If you got to go backwards, it might be difficult. I just think that we just got to, I know everybody wants to open up immediately and all this other stuff, and we want to get back to normal as soon as possible. But I also think that we should be careful on how we execute it and not just go so crazy because, just 1 month to give these teachers to prepare, it's going to be a zoo. There's no way they go back and it's going to be smooth sailing.
That's why I'm a proponent of just letting it go back to normal.
And just say, fuck it.
Just let it go back to normal because it's going to we didn't close schools when it's the flu season. We didn't close schools when it's a common cold. So, and the flu kills kids at a higher rate than the coronavirus, and we never closed schools. So that's the hypocrisy of the entire thing. Is where all right, we want to close schools because of 99% fucking virus for kids under the age of 18 survive, but when there's the flu, it's a higher rate, and we still send them anyway. So like it always bothered me when people would say, "Oh yeah, but it's the flu. The flu has a vaccine." Okay, cool. The flu has a vaccine, and it still killed more kids than COVID. So fuck the vaccine. Now, I know a lot of unions are going to be making their employees take the vaccine. So now let's say if they make the teachers take the vaccine, if the teachers are vaccinated, and then the kids are tiny, minuscule risk of getting COVID and dying from COVID, why can't we just open up?
That's a fair point. If everybody gets vaccinated, then there shouldn't be nothing to be alarmed. The only thing now with the vaccinations is like, let's say that 1% or 10%, whatever the number is, have had, bad reactions to the vaccine. For the most part, everything has been going smooth sailing. We got Johnson & Johnson, we got Pfizer, and we got Moderna. They got their 3 different versions of it. I think Pfizer and Moderna have a two-shot system, and then apparently Johnson & Johnson, who don't know how to run the jets, but they know how to run medical facilities, have a one-shot kind of implementation. So I mean, I think we're on the show together because we try to make as much sense as possible. I think that makes a lot of sense. If everybody's got the shot and the kids,
but the funny thing is about the shot,
let's just go with it.
But here's the hypocrisy, even with the shot too. The shot doesn't prevent you from getting COVID.
Right.
You still could get COVID if you have vaccine. If you have the vaccine. So like, what happens next? What if the vaccine backfires and it helps the body mutate the thing
virus,
like we have different strains of the flu.
Mm-hmm. We already have them. We have a South African version. We have a European version.
So let's say we have 4 right now, or 5.
California.
So let's say we have 4 or 5, right? Now let's say we have all the ethnic groups getting this vaccine who come from different backgrounds, different DNA. Now we, instead of having the 5 strains, now next year we can have 100. Because we have vaccinated all these people who still get the COVID vaccine, and now it's mutating in their system, and then they spread it to somebody else. So, like,
this is something that's just not going to go away that easy, and it sucks because it just seems like, that was one thing that I heard on Bill Maher. He was talking to these, I don't know if they were officially epidemiologists, but they were people who did study viruses and how vaccines are implemented, and they continue to discuss that this thing did not come from a wet market, and this was definitely something that was engineered in a lab, and the way the virus is behaving is
allegedly,
allegedly. Is more information leading to the fact that it was bioengineered because it keeps changing. So that would be crazy. You give all these people the vaccine, and then next year, again, like the flu, you have to take another vaccine because there's like 20 new strains, and then the next year there's 40 new strains, and the year after there's 60. I mean, it might get to the point where this thing might never go away, and we might never get a handle on it. And that's gonna be crazy.
What if next year it's one of the strains attacks the heart, or attacks the liver, or attacks the whatever the case. That's why I know I'm not taking the vaccine at all, because I'm not taking something that the government has given full blanket immunity to companies for.
Yes, that sounds dangerous, man.
So,
and usually a lot of this
for
stuff
people who
needs
are
a lot
listening
of time.
and who don't understand this, I'm going to break it down. Full blanket immunity. If in 5 years, let's say 100,000 people take the vaccine and 90,000 people die that took the vaccine, those 90,000 families cannot sue the companies of the vaccine that they took, because the government gave them a full blanket immunity to rush a vaccine. And I don't think people comprehend that.
Yeah, that's scary.
And it's scary when it gets said just like that. And that's what I'm scared about. Because what if in 10 years it says you have liver cancer? Right. Now, the 100,000 people, 75,000 people have liver cancer. What do they all have in common? They took the vaccine. We don't know yet. We just don't know what's going to come out. Yeah. And that's what like freaks me out. We don't know. We just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we'll be able to discuss this thing for a long time, even after they try to get a handle on this. There's just so many facets of this thing. Speaking of many facets, so we got Biden now. It looks like it's a full head of steam for the $1.9 trillion plan that's going to be moving forward. I don't know. I know that everything's checked. Only thing we got to finish is the Senate. The Senate usually shuts down a lot of shit that the Democrats try to push forward. Hopefully they don't put the kibosh on this. But I wanted to get your thoughts on if it does pass, right? And one of the things that's holding it up is the $15 minimum wage increase across the nation. What are your thoughts on that effect on small businesses?
I think it's gonna put a hamper on them because the way business works is if you're gonna hire somebody. So if you hire a person who's working for $15 an hour, right? Are they producing $18 worth of work, $20 worth of work, $25? Like, what is the tangible amount that that individual is producing of profit towards the small business? So now let's say the small business, all right, now you mandate them for $15 an hour. Now, what if that person who's working there making $12 an hour was producing $3 of profit of per hour? So now they're producing no profit because now it's 15 and now it was $12 plus $3 of profit. Now everything's zero. So what do you're gonna lose, because then if that person is full time, if they get benefits, you have to pay for insurance. That's another thing you have to pay for. So yeah, it comes across where you're forcing these small businesses to try to compete with these big box retailers. I was seeing this stat the other day. Costco's wage is $19 an hour.
Damn.
For the most part, across the board.
I'm fucking up. I don't go get a job at Costco.
The CEO is not a billionaire.
Really?
But he's 100 millionaire. Like he's
100,000-aire. So that's my favorite number.
No, 100 millionaire. Like he's in the hundreds of millions. He's like 800 million, 900.
He's almost
like,
a billionaire, basically.
Yeah, almost. He's basically. I'm pretty sure with asses and stuff, he's probably a billionaire. But Walmart is $13 an hour, and the entire family is worth like $200 billion. So that just shows you the amount of greed that a big box retailer would take, because you can, if you're making a large enough profits, you can pay your employees a decent amount of money if you don't want to be a fucking scumbag.
Right.
But the issue is that you have all these companies coming in. So you'll have a Walmart come into an area, make everything cheaper than all the locations around them, and then once those locations notice that they go out of business, they bump those prices right back up to normal prices. So that's the same thing Target does. That's the same thing. Amazon's already doing that to Walmart, doing that to Target already. So who's to say that the small business is going to be around in the next 10 years?
I mean, shit. Even, I mean, when you're talking about Amazon fucking up these big businesses, I mean, we don't even know if brick and mortar is going to be around anymore, right? Like the whole idea of being like, hey, babe, let's go to the mall, let's go get, that might go away. Like shopping might be only through the internet. Window shopping, buying anything might be through just your phone. Like to go into a physical building might leave. That might not even be a thing anymore. And so whether you're big business, small business, medium business, you're already seeing the effects of all of these different things. I just think that it should be, again, at a state level. You know what I mean? Like it needs to also be taken into consideration, what is the cost of life in that city? Because I was talking to a friend, right? $15 an hour in California ain't shit. $15 an hour in New York City ain't shit, because a pack of cigarettes is fucking like $19, right? But $15 in, let's say, Alabama, you could be balling, right? I think that we need to also consider not just passing this mandate across the board. You also got to think about how much it costs to have a life, because I need $15 an hour because I was house shopping yesterday and the average home is $700,000, right?
And that's what's in the area you live in.
Right. And my shit ain't even that fly. I'm not even in fucking Beverly Hills. Now, you go to Texas, a fly house is like $450,000. So maybe they don't need the $15 an hour. And I'm not saying yay or nay in any way. I'm just saying that it might be something that needs to be looked at a little further. And I don't know why. I mean, I've been chilling a little bit. I'm going to dive into this plan a little bit more, but I'm sure that there's a lot more shit into this $1 trillion plan than just paying the unemployment and $1,400 worth.
Of course.
Because we ain't getting all that money. We ain't getting all that money, bro.
And that's it. And that's the sneaky shit that's fucked up. Because one, I was already afraid of this from jump. Them printing money and just keep printing money because they can. That scared me, because I thought the financial ramifications are way worse than anything that could be manageable. Because if you're gonna keep giving out money for free, in a sense of borrowing. The shit's like 1% fucking to borrow for the Fed, which is nothing. We're not making any money. Like, we have to raise that to like 5%, 7%. Start making it, difficult for people to borrow money from the government. We don't do that. We need to make money. We need to get our costs down. And what scares me is that they don't do shit. Like, they won't cut the military budget. They won't give money to schools. So you leave everything to private citizens. Like, I always find it weird when you find like private organizations taking care of vets. Why is a private organization taking care of vets when, like, as a top priority, when it should be the government's job, because we're sending them out there? We're the one impacting these PTSDs and people who are not coming back home the way they left. And it's just fucking it's always in the back of my mind how that you just keep printing money and just think that throwing money at a problem is going to solve it, and it's not. We just need to open everything up back to normal and just keep the pushing. And if you're afraid, then you don't work, or you find a job that's remote, or you find a job that you work by yourself.
I think I was talking to you about this, and I think maybe this is something that should be brought up because, there has got to be a level of fear. I think it was Spotify that was doing like the same thing we were talking about with the kids in school. They were doing like, you could go all the way in if you want. You can do remote, or you could do a hybrid, where you go a couple days a week, and then let's say Thursday, Friday, you go home and you execute all the work. I think that's something that other companies need to start to think about, right? Because, I mean, when you're talking about, back to what you were saying, to get blanketed immunity, hey man, I don't want to take a vaccine if I have to take that vaccine and have to go back to work if in 5 years my arm falls off, right? Like that's a legitimate fear, right? So maybe we need to be able to handle some of these fear thoughts of people a little bit better than just being like, I'm not saying that you were saying this specifically, but just open up everything and throw it to the thing. Yeah, open up, but also say, hey, look, if you don't feel comfortable, we got something for you. I just think that this country is not only divided, it's multiply divided. Like, there's more divisions now than there's ever been before. It was either just white or black, or Democrat and Republican, and woman or male. Now that shit is not like that anymore. There are so many different factions within each faction that is fucking crazy and bananas, and everybody identifies with so many different things that, this is very scary. It's a lot going on. Like, I feel like the more awoken we get, potentially the stupider we're getting. Because we're trying to rectify and fix a lot of these issues on a social level, but a lot of some of the smaller stuff, it's not coming, to fruition. And everybody has their own opinion on so many different things, and it's really, really difficult to get anybody to sit down and talk about it. That's why I think podcasting, what you and I do, what a lot of other people are doing, is powerful. Because, hey, look, we need to start having uncomfortable conversations about these situations, and at least hear both sides, not pump everybody up at a fucking rally and storm something, right? Like, we need to start getting like leaders and smart people sitting down and talking about it. Like, look, I think you're gonna tell me a story in a second about Demi Lovato, but look, if it's I'm probably gonna say it wrong, but GBTLQV whatever, I'm not trying to take shots.
People.
Yeah, you got a lot of things. Okay, so you guys a lot of things. Why don't you guys get some ambassadors? That way we can talk and we can have conversations. Hey, what is the right way to say it? Who should we include? Who shouldn't we include? Okay, the Dems. We basically, what I'm saying is we got to stop relying on politicians. We need other people in the mix, right? And it seems like everybody. That's why I held LBJ in such high regard, because he should be an ambassador, right? On a lot of fronts, he tries to be, but making money and playing basketball is his number one priority, right? And I think we need to start kind of shying away from profiting and trying to start resolving these problems with the leaders that we have. Because once upon a time ago, we did have some leaders, and then they got eradicated. And then that was the end of that shit. And then over 30 years, it's just been a shitstorm since.
The issue we have right now is just that everybody wants to, like, they have this really false sense of being perfect that I remember growing up, said nobody's perfect, and you're going to strive to be great, strive to be a good person, but nobody's perfect. But we're trying to live in this world that to be perfect. So now segue to, we got, the president of the United States would always read a Dr. Seuss book. And now they want to ban 6 Dr. Seuss books because supposedly of some racial pictures that are in the books, but like I know when I went to Chinatown in New York City, when you go to a Chinese restaurant and you see Chinese people eating food, guess what the fuck they're eating with? Chopsticks in a bowl, noodles or wontons, or
That's
even
offensive
eating
to
rice
say
with
that
chopsticks.
now?
Say it again?
That's offensive?
So supposedly in the book, in one of the books, there's a Chinese guy running around with a bowl with chopsticks eating out of a thing in the story.
And that's offensive.
That's offensive. Then it was like an Arabian guy or an Arab dude or anybody like in Asia sitting on an elephant. Guess what? When you go to fucking India and there's an Indian guy sitting on an elephant, that happens.
Wow.
And now that's offensive.
Damn.
Now, and then supposedly you got this mom, fucking idiot, talking about how she was a black woman, talking about how she doesn't want her kids to be portrayed in the book as a gorilla. I'm like, kids don't even see color. Kids don't even see racism. When they read a book, they're like, oh shit, this is pretty cool. I'm a fucking zebra. I'm in the zoo. Put yourself in the zebra shoes and you're out in the fucking wild. Or you're a lion. Kids don't think that way.
Agreed.
Parents think that way.
We're the ones that show them what labels are.
Yeah, like I don't give a shit if my kid wants to be a fucking monkey or if my kid wants to be
a zebra
snake
or giraffe or fucking whatever. Lizard.
Curious George was one of my favorite books, and I never thought to myself, oh my god, if I was a monkey out, why is this guy carrying me around? Who knows, that might be the next book they fucking go after. They might say, well, the monkey represents a small child who is being oppressed by a white guy in a yellow hat. Like that's a possibility because we're going down these fucking rabbit holes of things that don't matter. They really don't matter, and it's really sad, and it's really mentally draining. Like I told my girl when I saw this shit yesterday about the Dr. Seuss shit, I said we need to get the fuck out of America. I wouldn't even say New York.
Yes,
I'm like out of America.
Yep,
like,
I agree.
We're worried about what 6-year-olds are reading for no reason. Kids don't even care.
They don't
at all. And
that to me means that we're not even talking to our kids.
No, at all.
We don't know what the fuck is going on. So we're making brash and rash decisions based on what we think things are.
Mm-hmm. And my girl brought this up to me.
Go ahead,
my girl brought this up to me. She was saying that, all right, cool. So let's say my kids, I'm Hispanic. Mm-hmm. So now I don't want my Hispanic kids to read books about another culture. So now I'm canceling a culture and only having them read about my culture only. So now you're doing the same thing anyway. You're basically blocking them off from the world because you only want them to read about being Spanish or being black or being white or being fucking Indian or whatever the case may be. You're going to be like, all right, my kids from 9 to 15 can only read about being Spanish. So you're doing the exact same thing that you're trying to protect your kid from when not showing them what a Chinese guy does or an Indian guy or an Indian woman or whatever the fuck
and potentially back in the day that would have been like cultural diffusion. Right, where we are showing
cultural appropriation.
Yeah, like we are showing. No, not appropriation, because appropriation means bad. Like, hey, this is how they eat in this country. This is how they travel in this country. You know, like we're showing them different things. Instead, now you're gonna put the thing down. You're gonna put the veil over it, and you're not gonna be able to really see or really understand. You know, listen, I think it's fucking cool that some people eat with sticks. I think it's cool that some people eat with their hands. I think it's cool that some people eat with forks. I think it's cool that people eat with with pieces of bread. That's part of teaching people about culture. But now we're gonna go into this place where you can't even do that now. Dude, we'll move on after this, but I call it the sandbox theory. When you're in a sandbox and you're playing with your homies, the only thing you care about is who's fast. You could give two fucks. You know what I mean? Because if you're playing tag, you need a quick dude. You know, if you're playing basketball, you need somebody with good hands. Baseball, fast. Everything is speed when you're a kid. That's the only thing we're evaluating on, right? I could remember, bro, I've never seen a black kid or white kid or brown kid and thought in my mind, this guy can or cannot be on my team because of those three things. Never.
Exactly.
I'm just like, is he fast or not? Are we gonna win the game?
Is he good or he's not good? Are we gonna win or we're not gonna win?
And even at the end, when you take a couple of bad guys, it's like, all right, cool. They're on the bench, and the best of the best is gonna play. But we're all gonna play, man. I think that's what And Rogan had it, and we had it for like an hour, and then it evaporated. When this thing started, all that shit went away. all that woke bullshit. We came together as human beings, and we try to fix shit, and we try to make shit better. And then the hour passed, and we went right back, if not worse than what we were before.
We're worse because now most people were working from home. Most people were on Facebook more, Twitter more, on the computer, on their phones and TVs more. People were already on that fucking shit a lot already. Now that you were home for 6 months straight, you were on that shit even more, amplified even more. And it was just like, all right, you know what? Let me try to you know what is to try to fix today? Dr. Seuss. You know what we should fucking worry about? People should worry about and try to fucking fix? How about let's end homelessness?
Yeah, how about that?
We fix that? How about we fix kids who don't get a meal every day? Let's fix that. Not fucking worry about kids not getting Dr. Seuss books.
Yeah, how about immigration? Yeah, how about let's do that? Huh?
How about we fix things that are tangible that we should work on? You know, how about we fix? You got a lot of abandoned buildings in certain cities.
Yeah.
How about you fix them shits up?
Yeah, right. Let's
and you
worry
get
about
people
the
to
inner
move in.
Yep.
You know, like get people housing.
Right.
Like I'm so tired of us worrying about things that don't fucking matter.
You know what though? That proves to me that it's not our agenda. It's someone else's agenda, right? And it catches fire on social. And then whatever fucking group you associate with, if it's fucking hitting on those notes that you normally do, boom, now you got this like sensational thing and everybody starts jumping on the bandwagon because there's nothing else to do but cancel Dr. Seuss at this point. Because we
like right now, like if they were saying, like even when Dave Chappelle brought it up, he was like, all right, what if tomorrow LeBron James says he's a woman? Does he get to play in the WNBA?
Yeah, I know.
Because if he doesn't play in the WNBA, he's winning 17,000.
All the titles.
All the titles, averaging 97 points a game, 19 blocks a game. Like,
right. Just dominating.
Where is the limit? Now, what if tomorrow I say I am a mouse? Am I allowed to say I'm a mouse? And now, do mouse have rights?
Right.
Can a mouse get arrested for killing something? Or if I'm a cat, cats kill rodents, over 1 billion rodents a year. I identify as a cat. I identify you, who you think you're a human being, I identify you as a rodent. But this is where it can lead to, and people aren't noticing that. People are just saying, oh, but this doesn't seem right. But every inch that we give up, every little time, this pandemic showed what people are willing to deal with and what rights they're willing to give up and what stupid things they're willing to put up with. Because that, like I said, that can be a thing. What if I were to kill somebody and I said my defense is I think that person's a rodent and I'm a cat and I identify as a cat and cats eat rodents? Who's to say that that's not true? Because that's factually true.
Right.
If you're gonna say that you could identify who you want on any given day, because there's been sometimes men who wake up, they feel like a woman, they're a woman for that week, and next week, oh, I feel like a man. Now they're back to being a man. How do we deal with those kind of situations? You gotta pick a side.
I'm going to Canada, bro. Fuck this.
Like I told you, but we spoke about the RuPaul thing. Did we speak about the RuPaul thing?
No. What happened to RuPaul?
Okay, so RuPaul has a really big show called The Drag Race, some shit. It's like on Amazon Prime.
RuPaul's Drag Race, I think it's what it's called.
Something like that.
It's not about racing, by the way.
It's not about racing. So RuPaul is a cross-dressing man who was a cross-dresser men who dress up as women. Majority of them.
Yeah.
So now there was a man who transitioned to be a woman. When I mean transition, titties, vagina, the whole nine.
Damn.
Went to the show
and got
RuPaul said no.
Wow.
Because you're not a woman anymore.
No, you mean you're not a man anymore.
I mean, you're not a man anymore. Sorry, you're not a man anymore. You're a woman. And the reason why the drag race, the whole shit is because you're supposed to be a cross-dresser.
So you got to be a man cross-dressing. That's how you qualify. But if you're now officially a woman who cross-dresses, technically, because it used to be a man, you can't come on the show.
Yeah, because you're not a cross, which is fine. Because you're not women are not allowed on the show because that's not how it goes. It should be that way.
So basically, I see this is what the thing I always get confused. I got to look this term up. So when you say transition, is that transgender or is that transsexual?
Transgender, I guess.
Right?
I don't know.
Right?
To me, they're all the same shit.
No, it's not. Because one means you still have your anatomy, and the other one means you don't have the anatomy.
I guess transsexual is the anatomy, I guess.
I think so.
Transgendered is changing.
Don't quote me, but that's not what we're getting at. Now we're confusing even that space.
Yep.
Right?
And it just, but like, how can people get mad? Call RuPaul transphobic because the person who's trying to get on his show is a woman now and identifies as a woman, and the show is about men who identify as men, even if, let's say, if they are homosexuals, but they're still men that cross-dress as women and still have penises, have pecs. There's no breast involved.
So you're on RuPaul's side on this argument.
Of course, yes.
I think it's confusing. For someone who just heard this story. This sounds crazy.
That's why I'm trying to break it down.
Yeah.
So,
I get you.
Yeah. So, like, if you're a man, all right, the show is about men dressing up as women.
Got that
That's
part.
the concept of the
Boom.
fucking show.
Got it.
So now, if you are a man who is a full-fledged woman now, identify as a woman, have breasts, cut your dick off and balls off, and have a vagina now, you are technically a woman, a transgendered woman now.
So transgender woman can't go on.
Correct, because the show is based on men that dress up like women, not women that dress up as women.
So my next question is, right? Do those? Damn, I don't even know how to refer to them. Okay, the gentlemen who cross-dress, right? They don't have breasts.
Correct.
Right. Okay, that's what I got to make sure, because it can't be dudes with breasts, and then they kick out the one person who has a vagina now, right? Mm-hmm. I still think it's a slippery slope, because I used to be a man. How come I can't qualify? Because I used to. Now because I identify as a full woman, I can't.
But here's the issue now, though, because then you could play the game of jumping back and forth.
So you got to be committed to a side, basically.
You have to.
Got it.
Because
okay. That's the argument. We got to pick a side. You can't be
like most women get less sentences when they commit a crime. They get less time.
Sure.
Across the board.
Yes.
So now, if I identify as a woman and I kill someone or I rob something, am I getting the same treatment that all other women get in the justice system, or am I going to identify as a man and they get a harsher punishment? Now, let's say if you identify as a man the entire time, you commit a crime, then when you get arrested and you're going through the procedure, you say you identify as a woman. It's a slippery slope you're going to keep coming to.
That shit sounds crazy. Back and forth that shit sounds crazy.
So, now, I don't have an issue. If you are, listen, live your life.
Yeah, do you?
You want to be happy. You think you're a woman. You think you're a man. You think you're a fucking monkey. You think you're a hippo. Whatever you think you, as long as you're happy. You're not killing anybody. You're not robbing from anybody. I don't give a fuck how you live your life. You pick a side. You commit to it, and so be it. As an adult. So now, like, I have an issue with when they try to give it to kids, because kids don't make up their mind till they're older.
Right.
Like, I haven't been making my decision.
Your brain doesn't fully develop into 25. Like, your frontal lobe is not even fully developed into 25. And
even when your shit is fully developed, 25, you're still making mistakes. Shit. Like, I'm starting to live life now at 30.
I'm starting to live life now at 40. For real, I feel you.
Exactly, and I understand life now. So, like, I would have made stupid decisions.
Bro, I've made so many bad decisions. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Hundreds,
so now, like,
tons.
If you're gonna let's say if you make an 8-year-old decide, all right, I want to be a girl, a boy that just decides he wants to be a girl, you make him go through everything, and now when he turns 25, he's like, damn, I wish I was a guy. I wish I was just a gay man. But you're making these rash decisions for kids at such an early age, and they don't know. Like, and especially with teenagers. Teenagers are fucking stubborn, and they're gonna fight you tooth and nail, 100%. No matter what. Yeah, and they think they know everything.
Right.
They think they know everything. Because I'm pretty sure I thought I knew everything.
I know we've had multiple arguments when you were younger.
Yeah,
and I was trying to help you out, and you thought you fucking knew it. And I was like, you know what? Hands in the air. Fucking do it, bro.
So, exactly, but I'm pretty sure, like, I would hope you would not make sure I would go and cut my dick off.
Right. No,
or make me go do some shit like that, because who knows where my mind's gonna be in 10 years.
This is what I thought. I thought that when stuff like that happens, even when you're an adult, right, you have to go under like serious psychiatric evaluations, because I forget what the numbers were, but a lot of people who go forward with the procedure end up regretting it. So they got to make sure you're like 1,000%. Well,
the suicide rate is still 40% whether you do surgery or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough place to be. Let me tell you something. Whether you identify, don't identify, whether you're sexual or not sexual, your sexuality, period, in my opinion, is a really tough thing to come to grips with, because it's very hard. Because you also deal with outside people. You know what I mean?
I think when Dave Chappelle said it, he was like that a transgender person came up to him after a show.
That was great, yes.
And said thank you for normalizing us.
Yes, putting us in, including us. Because we should be made fun of just like everybody else.
Exactly.
It's all a joke. People don't fucking get jokes anymore, right? It's fun. It only sucks when you only make fun of one group. That's a racist. But if you're making fun of all the groups, then it's just comedy.
Yep, and you normalize them as a person.
Yeah.
Everybody gets normalized, and you included, and you feel like you're engaged. And I just feel like I just hope we get to that spot. But
No,
we're
we're not gonna
focusing
get
on shit that we don't need to worry about. Like we're gonna segue to this right now.
Tell me.
We got Demi Lovato coming out speaking about how. I mean, has anybody ever been to a gender reveal?
I've
And if
never
you don't know
been,
what that
by the
is,
way.
or
I
ever
wanna
seen it.
go. I don't have enough friends to invite me to shit.
So if you don't know what that is, the audience you're speaking to is you go to somebody's house who's having a baby, and they go and say what the sex is going to be,
Right.
woman,
At the
female,
party.
or boy,
Yes.
right? Blue or pink.
Uh-huh.
Now you got Demi Lovato coming out saying that that's transphobic because that kid doesn't know what it's going to declare his gender as. So you're predetermining that gender if it's a boy or a girl.
Maybe they gotta write it better. It's not a gender reveal. It's a biological gender reveal. Okay,
But still, people are still gonna argue with that anyway because they're gonna be like, "I'm not biologically a woman. I'm not
how's that
biologically a
possible?
man."
You have a penis or you have a vagina.
But that's the problem.
That's what we're picking here. That's all we're saying. We're saying that it's gonna have a penis or a vagina. Maybe they gotta get more like crude and like more like specific and saying like it's not a gender reveal. We're just gonna let you know what color clothes maybe would be better off. I don't know, bro.
No, I'm not doing that. You're a girl, you're a boy. We're not like it's we can't go through all these things. Now, again, I want people to understand something. If I am talking to somebody who is transgender, and that person is a man who's a woman, and then the person's name used to be Dave and now is Danielle, and I respect that person, I will call that person Danielle.
Only if you respect them?
Yeah, well, most people I respect when I speak to them anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter. If you're with that crew, we're going to refer to you as whatever crew you want to be fucking notified with. I think it happens to a lot of people even with names. Right?
Yeah.
Some people even want to fucking change their name. They fucking have some hiccup with their original name, and so they want a new name. So you want to be fucking Tommy, you're Tommy. You want to be Johnny, you're fucking
Correct.
Johnny now. You want to be Louis, you're fucking Louis. You want to be Dustin now, you're Dustin. Whatever the fuck floats your boat, I'm cool with. I can give two fucks. I can give
But now
two
when
fucks.
you like that's a stance that Jordan Peterson stood on. It was like that if you're gonna make it a hate crime and legislate language, that's an issue. You can't force people through government to force them to call you something that biologically you are not. Because we have XX and XY chromosomes. It's all just based on science.
Right, yeah. I find it crazy how we just thrown away like so much science out the window.
Yeah, for sure. But again, if that person says, "Hey, I am a man,"
right?
Okay, cool. And then if the people, all right, because the issue is that you got the transgender women and men listening to the assholes of the world,
correct,
and letting them get into their head.
100%.
So a woman who used to be a man, if that girl was Danielle, now that his name is Danny, I respect that. Yeah, you keep it pushing. Right. But now you're gonna have the assholes are gonna be like, "No, you're not Danny, you're Danielle." Yeah. And like you can't let those people get under your skin because those people are fucking assholes and are insecure and don't love themselves to begin with because they're looking to tear somebody else down and be a bully. So I hope that we got to try to decipher, like, these people who are trying to identify as whatever they're trying to identify as. Don't listen to the assholes. I would go that route. Just don't listen to the assholes because there's going to be assholes all the time, all over the place, and I'm not going to let one or two assholes ruin my entire day. And I think they have to try to move that way. And then I've seen a lot of people getting mad at like. Or trying to make the disclaimer that men are transphobic towards transgender women, and that's not the case. Like you have this small amounts of cases that if a transgender woman told the guy that they're talking to, "Hey, I used to be a man." There's been small cases. The guy says, "All right, cool. I don't care. You have a great personality. I like you for you," and they keep it pushing. But then you got people who are saying that men are transphobic because they're not. Accepting a transgendered woman because now they used to be a man, now they're a woman, and now that guy is transphobic. I think it's a slippery slope. All these terms are getting a little confused and clunky, but I just think we can't hold people to these crazy standards that we don't even know we're going down yet. What if like even hey guys, what's up? Saying hey guys is starting to become something.
No, it's already a problem. I was corrected a lot in the restaurant industry because you refer to that because you got to also include the females in that. But it's like, I don't know. I mean, the safest one is folks. That's what I switched to. Because you can include everybody. But then somebody might say that that's offensive because it's maybe a Southern term that was used to, offend somebody else.
You don't know what you're going to do.
It's crazy how much we're changing even the way we talk. I think you just got to say hi. or hey. I mean, you can't even say guys.
I don't even let that shit compute in my brain because I know. I don't have the mental
the bandwidth.
I don't have the mental bandwidth and real estate in my brain to let that seep in to think about. Like let's say if I went up to a person, right? And I say, "Ma'am, you dropped your glasses," and she turns around and says, "I don't identify as a ma'am." Like that's the type of situation we're gonna end up going
we're already
down.
there, which I can't even understand. Now saying "ma'am," right, refers to an older person. Mm-hmm. So if you're a younger woman and you say "ma'am," they really automatically flip. I'm not a ma'am. I'm not old, right? So it's like, damn. Now you're saying that I hate older people. So now if I say "miss," right, that seems to be the safest. But if by accident I say, I forget which one. It's the MRS. Miss or Mrs. If you say Mrs., if you refer to, I'm not married. I'm like, listen, are we gonna start to wear like a fucking like plaque that says all the shit that you can't say to me and can say to me? Like, what in the fuck? That's why I'm telling you, bro. I'm about to start turning into a hermit and not even fuck with motherfuckers no more. I just not even talk to nobody. I just
when you talk to people, you're gonna need a disclaimer. All right, hey, hello, my name is Jason. What's your name? Is it Danny? Danny, are you a woman? Are you not a woman? Do you want to be referred to as they, them, zer, zim, zuri? Like, what do you want to be referred as? Okay, now we can have a conversation.
It's crazy too because in NYC, I seen an article a while back and I read it, but I was so confused. There's like 50 different sexual like things that you could. Like it's no more
gender.
Yeah, but not gender, like what your sex preference is. Because you could be pan, you could be trans, you could be, there's like 100 different like you can be like boys and girls, you could like girls, you could like boys and girls and trans, you could like only trans if you're a guy, you could like trans if you're a girl. Like there's so many different fucking, I was just like, oh my God, this is gonna break my brain. I picked the worst time in the world to go sober, by the way.
All right, let's switch gears.
Please, because this shit is stressing me the fuck out. My palms are getting sweaty. God damn. We gotta stop coming into the show so hot. We coming too hot. All right, we're gonna go with our new segment, news or no news. This one's a little light because I knew starting with this Dr. Seuss shit was gonna get us all riled up. We just spent an hour of the show going ham. So, news or no news? Lakers are losing more than they're winning. Nothing still?
No,
will they be there for the playoffs? Yes, right?
As long as we got to see once Anthony Davis, see what happens with Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
See how that his Achilles happens. I think they're gonna be fine.
Was surgery required or not required for that injury?
No, it's just rest.
Okay.
It's just he just needs rest on it. I just think because remember short season. I think
that was terrible. We talked about it last time. NBA fucked that up.
Yep, I think they
go ahead, finish up, and I'll
I just think they went back too fast, and I just think he partied way too hard. They didn't really get back into the lab right away. Let his body, relax, and now he went full fledged. He's been having a down year there across the board this year. And I just think there's no problem. LeBron has reached the status of Tom Brady. When the clocks hit zero, I have to see if his team is losing, and then we move forward from there.
Agreed.
Until the clock says zero, and the other team has more points than Tom Brady or LeBron James, then we can discuss what's happening with LeBron James or discuss what's happening with the Lakers.
Really quickly, do you watch like all the teams?
A majority.
Okay,
I would say like 80%.
What do you think about that Lakers team without Davis? Do you believe they're competitive?
They'll be competitive just because LeBron has that just there. It's just whatever
he's Tom.
reason.
Okay, perfect. All
right. Who knows when it happens in the playoffs?
Because I've been watching the Lakers, and I'm not like super crazy about the team, but with LeBron James, let's say taking off a quarter, they still score 100. They're
we'll
not
see
garbage.
What happens, man. I think it's still early. I think it's mid-season.
Right, of course. Okay, speaking about that. News or no news, the NBA All-Star game.
This is no news. And the reason why there's no fucking news is because it shouldn't be fucking happening right now.
Facts.
All these guys should be
resting,
home, relaxing,
yes.
and fucking septic tanks, the deprivation tank. I mean, deprivation tanks,
cryo chambers,
all
fucking,
that,
all the goodies, all the good shit that makes your body feel better.
Massage every 3 hours, whatever the case may be. It should be just relaxing. Now you got to make these guys go to a bubble. Now let's see what happens if they go to the All-Star game, right? The All-Star game happens. A couple of days after the All-Star game happens, there was a contact tracing. So now you have all the superstars
in one building that you got sick potentially, or gave a chance
all
to get
out
sick.
for the next 3 weeks, 2 weeks, because of your COVID protocol. How does that make sense?
But that's no way they're gonna do that because the fucking NBA is just fucking crazy. Okay, let's move on. The Knicks, I believe, they're still not 500, but they hit 500 sometime last week. News or no news?
No news.
The hate is real for you and the Knickerbockers.
There's literally no news here.
All right. So we're gonna get a little bit more. We're ratcheting it up. I go slow and then we go hard. T.I. and his wife are mixed up in some kind of sexual assault accusation / scandal. First of all, let's grade that. News or no news?
I would say is news if it holds validity to it, because you have a lot of these couples who be fucking swinging threesomes all the time, because when you're at that status, you get so much, vagina and dick thrown at you so much and you're a married couple. I'm pretty sure, you guys love each other and don't want to lose that you guys just say, you know what, let's do this together, and I don't know, maybe those women who are coming out of nowhere now, they need money. Who knows? Okay. I don't know, and I don't want to discredit them right away, but
got it. Dumb seeking to make a deal out of court. News or no news?
No news, because
right.
You're always gonna get sued regardless.
Correct.
I heard this a couple months ago. Will Smith was talking to a fan, and he was telling the fan that I do have a lot of money, and I'm not in these exact words. He goes, I have money. You don't have a lot of money. So you don't, we have different problems. We both still have problems.
Right.
But I have different problems. He's like, he gets sued about 17 times a year.
What? Dang, that's
Will
crazy.
Smith. So he has to have a lawyer on deck for the whole year. And that costs a lot of money.
Facts.
So in order to, just so it doesn't exceed. So let's say if you have a problem, right? You don't want to get to the public eye.
Facts.
Like right now, what we're discussing. So you don't want to get dragged through the mud.
You don't want to come on the
details to come out, whatever the case may be. So I'm suing you. I mean, I want $100,000. All right, cool. He's 75. Sign his NDA.
That's it.
Keep it pushing.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, you get what happens now.
Right.
They're gonna get discussed. They're gonna say,
shit's gonna turn into some Amber Heard, Johnny Depp shit, basically.
Exactly. All
right.
So it's just basically
We'll keep pushing. The NFC West is the best division in football. News or no news?
Yeah.
That's
without
news?
a doubt.
Yeah? Okay, so we believe...
They have 4 starter QBs.
Okay.
They normally don't have... You normally don't have QBs that are high tier in the same division right now.
Okay. I'm gonna throw one in because I wanted to put it in. I'm just gonna try to figure out how am I gonna word it. Let's see. News or no news? Should the Green Bay Packers move off of Aaron Rodgers?
I think if you want to get the maximum value for him, I would.
Right? You gotta get it now.
I would get it right now. Get it because he's 38.
Damn, he's 38. Fuck.
He hasn't shown the ability
to get to the next
level. To do what Tom Brady can do.
But is that a mark on him? Because Brady's doing shit that Phillip Rivers has never been able to do. Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, a lot of guys.
But Big Ben has 2. So he went to 3 and 1 2.
That's true. Big Ben has actually had more success. I think the Steelers are probably a better organization when it comes to winning championships than the Green Bay Packers have been.
For sure.
Right?
But when I mean that, it's just like everybody puts Aaron Rodgers as the best thrower with a football ever.
By the way,
And the
I was
GOAT.
telling somebody this the other day. He gets like, you know how everybody talks shit about Brady when he was in New England, right? Bills, Miami, Jets. I can say the same thing about Rodgers. The Lions ain't shit, the Vikings ain't shit, and the Bears ain't shit, and that's 6-0 every season, pretty much guaranteed.
And
that
he
means you go to the
hasn't
playoffs.
and he hasn't risen to the occasion.
And the NFC is weak.
No, the NFC was harder.
You think so? Than the AFC?
Yeah.
In recent memory, but I'm talking about a few years back. The NFC. Like I mean, he's been there in the building for 20 years almost. This guy, or not 20, or close to.
But
close to.
I think you should try to maximize your value.
Yeah, right. I would move him now. Move him now.
Get 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. You know, like who gives a shit if like I don't know who's looking for a quarterback still.
Everybody, Miami, the Texans.
Say Miami
probably
wins a chip. All right, cool. Like you're gonna get 5 picks,
right?
And who knows in Tua
or
something. Like you're gonna get a player back, but get some compensation because he hasn't shown the ability that he's gonna get to the big game. He just hasn't shown it.
Got it. Okay. News or no news? The first ever space hotel plans to open in 2027.
No news.
I would say news only because it looks like we're really pushing to outer space. Like,
but
that's gonna be imagine your kids, like you get older, we're old already now, we're gonna get older, right? And let's say I'm 60, no, let's go higher. Let's say I'm 70 and you're 60, right? And then your girls or my girls, they come up and they're like, Dad, we're gonna go to spring break in Mars. You know what I mean? Like that might be the new, place to go or new destination. It might be like the new fucking Cancun type of shit. So no news. I was just saying news because progressively it looks like we're headed out of the earth.
But I feel like it's only like the thing is that we're not doing it as a species of human beings working all together.
That's true.
To try to do it.
That makes sense.
Now, if I seen us as everybody trying to do it, because the issue is like, all right, so you have several layers to this. So you have. We haven't perfected making sure that we keep Earth good.
Correct. So what makes you think we're probably gonna fuck up?
So we're gonna go to space and do some dumb shit in space. You know what I'm saying? So like we still have fucking pollution problems here.
Facts. Yes.
That aren't fixed, and now we want to worry about space. Now, don't get me wrong. I think we should still keep exploring and keep trying to get to space and work on different things because that's how we get Tang. That's how we get a screwdriver. That's how the power drill. It came from people working at NASA. That's how we got LASIK surgery. LASIK surgery is from NASA too. The laser. Like we get innovation from stuff like that.
Okay. I
just think that wanting to go to space in a luxury capacity isn't like worth anything yet.
Got it.
Because look at space, look at SpaceX.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. So we'll tie that in so that I could go back into some cheap bullshit. But SpaceX, their third rocket just blew up. News or no news?
I say no news just because I trust Elon Musk so much.
Okay.
And he says that when they run tests, they expect the rockets to blow up.
Okay.
They want them to blow up so they know what was going wrong.
Got it. Instead of it going all good and then it fucking blows up when they got people aboard.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fair. All right, then we'll go to some cheesy shit. Kim Kardashian and Yeezy officially divorced. News or no news?
No news, because the Kardashians are crazy. They made a guy go trans. So
they kill men like nobody's business, bro.
Look at Scott Disick. He was fucking mentally broken down.
By the way, I had a dream that I was hanging out with Lord Disick. That's a trip that
he looks like a cool dude to hang out with.
He definitely looks like a fucking seriously cool dude to hang out with. Okay, so I think that for the most part that'll wrap up our news or no news segment. We're gonna jump right into the around the leagues, and I wanted to cheat, but since it's okay. I'll wait for it then. So the Pistons are working on trying to buy out Blake Griffin. Suggested teams are the Nets, the Bucks, and the Blazers. If potentially he goes to the Nets, is it automatic? I mean, we already said last week, I've been watching them. The Nets cook like nobody's business, bro. They're literally 10 points better than every team they play, in my opinion. They get great play off the bench. I know you're not crazy about Jordan, but if they get a guy like Blake and Jordan played before for the Clips, they were pretty dynamic. Could this be the final piece where you have 5 all-stars potentially on the floor at once.
Yeah, because they're already slapping people
Smack.
without Durant.
Right.
Durant's not even playing now.
Like, imagine
'cause
that.
He had the hammy. So imagine when Durant comes back.
That's what I'm saying. So if you have Durant, Kyrie, Harden, Jordan, and Blake, that's too much for anybody to handle, bro. That's
And
too
you got
big.
Blake, and Blake could shoot.
Right. That's what I'm
Blake
saying. And Blake
he can
potentially
shoot
could
threes.
play off the bench. Right. You could
Yep.
probably put Durant off the bench. So now with Harris, and they're not gonna have to give up anything. Who would have thought Brooklyn would be dominating so much this year?
Well, once they kind of signed KD, I knew they were going to be a beast because KD is just KD.
I know that,
And,
but Harden now is taking them to another level, especially.
Oh no, for
as a
sure. But I think they
facilitator.
still were going to be fine. Like if Spencer Dinwiddie didn't get hurt, and Karis LeVert, and and they didn't trade Karis. Karis LeVert was giving him 30 off the bench, so like they had playmaking. Like they were going to cook regard. I thought they were going to win the championship no matter what.
Okay.
Without Harden.
Got it.
Harden was just taking them over the top.
We were just talking about Lakers, and I'm surprised that he wasn't in this fit. Why wouldn't the Lakers go after Griffin?
You got too many bigs already over there. Like, too many power forwards.
Okay.
They don't really need.
They need guys that can shoot. Okay, that makes more sense. All right, this is the biggest news for me all week, only because everybody else made it big news. J.J. Watt signs with the Cards for some big money, and most of it is guaranteed. This is not a shot to J.J., but does he have enough in the tank to make the defense a threat? Because he's already battled injuries for the last few years as a Texan.
Well, first of all, I thought it was the dumbest free agent signing in history for a player that was by Pro Football Focus ranked the 21st best defensive player in the league last season.
That's what I'm saying.
So why wouldn't you go to a contender?
Right.
Why wouldn't you go to the Colts?
Whoa,
Why wouldn't you go to the Browns?
You're not saying the Cards are contenders?
No, not even a
Really?
little bit.
Wow.
Yes.
What makes them not contenders?
All right, so first of all, they got 7 players on defense that are free agents.
Okay.
You have 6 players on offense that are free agents.
Okay, that's fair.
So you start there. You're pretty sure you're not going
That's
to get
enough.
everybody coming back.
There's no way. So,
Right?
okay, if pause real quick before we keep going in. So, who are contenders that you would have thought? What? Let's say Colts would have been one. Who else?
You got Colts. He should have went to the Steelers with his brother.
Okay, fair.
He should have went to the Packers back home, Wisconsin. You have Zadarius Smith on one side. You have him coming up the middle. That would have been another contender. Or he'd have went to the crazy route. Go to Tampa Bay. Showed up that defensive line even more.
Jesus Christ.
Go get yourself a chip. You need a chip on your resume.
Agreed to be the best or one of the best.
You know, he's a Hall of Famer.
By just numbers of tackles
He's
and
won
sacks?
3 Defensive Player of the Year awards.
Okay, that's fair.
He's going in.
Yeah, okay.
He's going in. He's a difference maker, but you need hardware. You need to be in the playoffs. You need he hasn't made his name because he hasn't been in the playoffs a lot.
No, I agree.
I think they've been in the playoffs like 5 times, 4 times.
Yeah.
And haven't went that far. So I thought that the signing was dumb.
I can't believe they gave him so much money. He got like $25 million guaranteed. That's crazy.
Because Kyler's still on a rookie deal.
Oh, so they could afford to throw away some money right now?
They could afford to throw some money, but still working legacy. Like look at Deshaun Watson's legacy. I need
feel
legacy.
You. Yeah, I mean, yes, we talk about it all the time.
He's got enough money. He's signed for $100+ million with the Texans.
No. I got. He's caked up.
You went for a money play for no reason. You got all these national commercials. Like the Cardinals are not winning a championship. They're just not. They're not in position.
Okay.
And then you're in one of the toughest divisions of football. You got Matthew Stafford,
Russ?
Jimmy Garoppolo, and Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
You're just not. You guys have the tied for the worst QB in the division. Not saying that he sucks.
Right.
He's not better than Russ.
No.
I don't think he's better than Matthew Stafford.
No.
And now you got Jimmy G has been shaky.
He could be tied. He could be tied with Jimmy G. Let's say
he's tied with Jimmy G, but Jimmy G still has a crazy ass winning record. He's I think 38 and 16 or some shit. He has a crazy winning record. Jimmy Garoppolo.
I was starting to get nervous. I was reading some stuff on Kyler, and I know shout out to Josh Booty. Boot was super stoked early in the season about all the good news and all the buzz that was coming out of the Cards. But apparently he's had some really weird and strange injuries. He's undersized. I don't know if continuing to play the kind of football. I mean, he takes care of the football well. He knows when to
He
run
doesn't
out of
really
bounds.
get hit.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He knows when to run out of bounds. But I don't know. We'll see. I think this year is going to be. I'm going to put a lot of eyeballs on the cards to see how he progresses. But also too, they don't got nothing, man. Besides the D Hop, they don't got
And
shit.
Booker
over there.
Baker, the safety, he's a beast.
I was
That's
talking about
about it.
offense. They got no fucking running back. They got no tight end. They got no second receiver, no third receiver. The offensive line. When I see a quarterback running all the time, that means to me your offensive line is trash. All right, we're gonna move on. Speaking of the Steelers, Ben resigns. Was that a good move for Pittsburgh or an okay move?
I think they did that to save money because they didn't have anybody else to go after. I thought what they really should have done was release Big Ben and go get Deshaun Watson.
Facts. I like
Go get
that.
Deshaun.
Or get fucking anybody. Go get fucking Aaron Rodgers. Go get somebody who's going to be in their prime, who's going to be slinging it. I mean, they were one of the best offensive throwing the ball down the field last season, which showed that Ben doesn't really have. I mean, he had the fastest rating release to receive ball and get it to somebody faster than anybody in the NFL.
Because they weren't throwing it deep. Everything was short over the middle crossing route.
Right, but
everything was 6 yards and under.
They were limited. They have no running game. Also, we're gonna bring up somebody in a second here, but their wide receivers were okay. No one. I mean, they had some guys who emerged. You know, they had the kid from Notre Dame who killed it a little bit. Washington showed up for a second. I think Juju stepped up a little bit more, but it looked like Juju played better as a third receiver and a second receiver than a number one overall because he got outshined by the Rook.
He struggled.
Yes, 100%.
Well, he didn't. I don't think he struggled. I think he didn't have. One Big Ben doesn't have the arm strength anymore. That's the first thing. Second thing is now he's a number one receiver. He's the veteran. Now he's gonna get the double coverage. He's gonna get the roll coverage to him. He's gonna get the linebacker to pop him at the line of scrimmage. You're gonna get DBs to get up on you. And it showed its head. That's why Chase Claypool came out. Deontay Washington came out. You have all these guys, like the second and third. Just like how Juju came onto the scene because AB is how it's going to happen. And I don't think the Steelers are going to re-sign Juju anyway.
Right. So that's my next question. A free agent, Juju Smith-Schuster, where would be a great landing place for him?
I'm trying to see. Number one receiver. It depends on what kind of money.
Should the Jets sign him?
You guys got to waste money, but
we got $80 million.
Yeah,
we got to start spending some of that shit.
It all depends on how the draft goes and where he goes.
Get Watson, you definitely sign him, right? Would Watson elevate Juju's game?
Maybe. Again, I think he's a really good two.
For sure. That's why I say you sign him. He's a great two. He's a great locker room guy. He blocks during run plays. I mean, he brings everything to the thing. The only problem is that he's gonna want number one money. That's the problem. He's not gonna take number two money, which number two money should be around $12 million annually, not $25 million annually. Yeah, 10. I'm down with that. I'll sign you for a 2-year deal. I'll even throw in some money in there. I'll sign you 2-year deal, $25 million. $15 million guaranteed, and then the rest you got to work for, bro.
Yep. So I don't know. He didn't elevate to Terry McLaurin. You have DJ Chark. You have these up and coming guys.
Yeah. Godwin is going to be a free agent, and he didn't even play as good as Chris Godwin. Now, granted, Chris Godwin had Tom Brady, but still, right? I mean, you gotta elevate to get more money, and I'm sure his camp they're gonna say, "Nah, you've been elevating for so long."
And they were talking about this with the Steelers. They don't really re-sign guys of their rookie contracts unless they are great.
Yes, to be honest with you,
even wide receivers, they don't sign them.
There's 3 companies, and I could throw in 4. 3 companies that I think do a great job in not only drafting but letting dudes go. 1 is the Giants, 2 is New England, 3 is Green Bay, and 4 is the Steelers. And the Steelers continue to get better with minus additions. They got rid of AB. They were still better. They got rid of Le'Veon Bell. They were still better. They always continue to find guys in the draft, and they've hit on every receiver. Look, they found this kid in Notre Dame. Notre Dame is not even a place where you get wide receivers, and they hit on Claypool. So they don't ever have a problem finding cats. That's not their problem. And their defense is much better. So maybe they need to try to hit on a running back because they need to get back to the old Steelers, the way they used to play. I think
For sure, because I had James Conner and he was dog shit.
Oh my God, terrible. He was there. I never believed. All right, we're gonna move on real quick here. We're gonna go. Should the Saints keep Famous Jameis? And if they don't, where should Famous or who should pick up Famous?
It sucks because like the NFL, they don't give like black quarterbacks a second chance.
No,
they really don't. Because look at Cam for instance last year.
I was just gonna bring up my man.
He got a $1 billion contract.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they were begging Jay Cutler to come out of retirement to sign with the Dolphins a couple years ago, and they gave him like $12 million. But a former MVP and Cam, they gave him $1 million in incentives.
That the Patriots came off filthy on that fucking play, bro.
Yep. So you have it would have to be obviously a 1-year deal, and you got to give him a chance, man. He did throw for 5,000 yards,
yeah, he
and
did
30 touchdowns. You know,
yeah.
like I would give him a shot. I would give him a shot.
What about the Bears? No good. No bueno. Those are teams looking for quarterbacks. Browns, no good. I mean, Bears, no good.
It depends on how like they think he's gonna be, because look how fast they pulled Mitchell Trubisky. And Trubisky was 3-0.
What if the Saints fucking did a crazy thing? I don't know if he's on the contract, but would you trade if you were the Texans? You give Deshaun to the Saints and you take Winston. At
The issue with the Saints is the cap money.
Because they're paying too many fools.
They're already paying so many people. That's the issue with the Saints.
Don't they get some money back if Breeze walks out or retires?
A little bit, but
not enough.
He's bullshitting too. Like,
oh, is he?
He might come back. You know, like, there's so much time you can spend home with the kids and your girl.
Drive
like,
fucking crazy. Ask motherfuckers during COVID. Fuck that. Bring the jobs back. We out.
Exactly.
He gonna go nuts.
I think he should stay in the Saints. I think he should
try
they should give him a shot. I think they should give him a shot.
You talking about Jameis?
Yeah, Jameis should come. Like, they should give Jameis a shot.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
And he's already learned the system. He's been in it
for a year. That's what I'm saying.
He's the only one. He threw a 60-yard touchdown in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying.
Give him a shot.
I think he deserves a shot. I think he deserves a shot. All right. We'll switch to basketball, and then we'll get into our movie thought review section, which I'm still working on a sick title for. But so Isaiah Thomas comes out and says Zion Williamson was miscast, and he should be playing point guard. What do you think? And while you chew, let me ask you something else. Do you think now, because this is what I was thinking about when I read this article, is it now because of the emergence of, let's say, LeBron James, and now with Harden moving to the PG, are now teams going to make their best player the point guard and allow the system to run through them? Versus,
I don't think that should happen. I think that's a bad thing. Like I've always said that, like, LeBron could have won more championships than lost if he was within a system. Because the reason why, like, LeBron James teams struggle when he goes to the bench is because there's no offensive set. Everything is through LeBron James, pick and roll, cross court passes. Everything's through LeBron James. So when LeBron goes to the bench,
we have no plan.
They don't know what to do. So, but then that's the issue that I always have with people who fucking suck LeBron off, is that you praise him when they win. Oh shit, LeBron's the fucking greatest. He does this. He's fucking 78,000 stats and he leads in every category. But then when they lose, oh, he didn't have enough help. You can't have it both ways. You can't, have the cake and eat it too. You can't do everything.
I'm a LeBron James lover, and I'm with you on that. I scrutinize him as much as when he wins, as much as when he loses. It's all on you. If you're gonna be the guy, then you got to take the L2 when we lose, Bob, because you're the GM now too. Right, and you get to pick and sign who you pick, dudes. Right, so
because if we go to let's just go to the history. You go to players that they ran the ball through solely, right?
Okay, go. Tell me some.
You go, Carmelo Anthony didn't win nothing.
Terrible.
James Harden hasn't won anything.
Was pretty bad too.
LeBron James needed superstars and top 5 players in his conference to win championships.
100%.
It was Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade.
Yes.
And and that stint in Miami wasn't even successful, even though they won 2 chips.
Well, they were supposed to win 4 and 5 and
Yeah,
6
and
and 7.
six, exactly.
Right. They didn't win. They won 2. And they barely won 2. Because if that shot
Exactly.
wasn't taken, they wouldn't have won shit.
Exactly. So now when it comes to Zion being a point guard, Zion doesn't have the requisite handles to become to be a point guard.
Right. That makes sense.
The issue with him too is like all you gotta do is step back, make him shoot kind of thing. Even though he's really fucking strong and he's crafty and gets to the rim, he gets to the rim. There's not everybody has that gift of being a PG and orchestrating an offense. Who knows
does that make Harden even more interesting?
Well,
because he has the handle like a motherfucker.
No, for sure. But Harden, even when his OKC come off the bench for the 6th man, he was kind of like quasi point guard, and Russell Westbrook was a shooting guard kind of thing because he was more of a passer, winning passer, better offensive. He saw the floor better, and that's one thing you got to get big up. So James Harden is his passing ability is off the charts.
Unbelievable.
But then again, I always go back to this. A lot of point guards who average 9, 10, 11 assists don't win championships.
I know you brought that up the other day. I found that very interesting.
Because you need if you have to set your teammates up that much, that means your teammates are C players that are you elevating to B. Now, let's say if you're having an off night and then they're having an off night too,
we're fucking losing
screwed.
games. Losing games.
Right? Or if you're cooking but your team is off,
we're losing games again.
You're losing games anyway.
Yes.
Case in point, LeBron James.
I was just gonna say LeBron James against the Spurs because that's what fucking he did. He just made LeBron score. Nobody else can score. Don't matter.
Exactly.
You can't score 100 points.
James Harden, his entire stint in Houston, it's cool to do it during the regular season, but when everybody buckles down and they gain the data and sitting in those meetings, playoffs are a different animal, and you fizzle out. Look at Giannis the last 2 years, even the Greek Freak. He's fizzled out in the playoffs too, because now it's time to settle in. You can't shoot. All right, we're gonna make you shoot. You don't got a post up game. You got no footwork. When you're on the block, you don't know what to do when you get to the thing. For him, it's sidestep, run you over, dunk. Sidestep, run you over, dunk. And that holding the ball the entire time and dribbling and setting everything up doesn't work. And when you go down history, look at all the great point guards that would average, 10, 11 assists. Steve Nash didn't win.
Right.
When Jason Kidd was didn't win.
Yeah.
Rondo didn't win.
No, he got one. He got lucky.
No, but I'm saying Rondo didn't lead the league in assists.
Oh, okay.
Or didn't have 10, 11 assists.
A night, yeah.
Is what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Averaging that in the regular season. Even look at when LeBron was averaging 11 assists against the Warriors. They lost. Why? Because he was doing so much. When he went to the bench, 3 seconds, they're down 10 already.
Damn.
So that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down. So it sounds good in theory because it's exciting. You want the best player to have the ball most of the time. You want to dunk, shoot, make amazing plays. But is it about dunking amazing plays or is it about winning championships?
Apparently, it's just about dunking amazing plays because nobody's really serious about winning championships, especially in the NBA, which is weird. You would think that everybody looks at the greats and the GOATs in the top 10 list of all times. I haven't seen anybody with the hunger.
I was talking to my friends.
That's why I love LBJ. Because you can say whatever you want about him. Homeboy's committed to winning hardware every fucking season, no matter what.
Yep. I was talking about this. I was talking about it the other day. I was like, I don't see in the NBA another LeBron James. I don't see
another Kobe Bryant.
I don't see it. Don't see another Kobe Bryant.
Nope, no Michael Jordans.
I don't see anybody in the NBA right now doing that. I don't see anyone. I don't either. Up and coming youngsters. I don't see a dominant player coming up.
Yes,
right
nothing.
Now. And it's a weird thing and a scary thing.
I think it has a lot to do. I'm telling you, I know you like me, and we believe in genius, and genius happens to you whether it's basketball, baseball, football, science, math. But I'm telling you, man, I think a lot has to do with the one and done shit, man. And I told you, shout out to Don Casey for really bringing that up. But when you look
I
at
think
Patrick
it's more,
Ewing,
to be honest, I
and you
think
look
it's
at Michael
more the
Jordan,
money.
Those motherfuckers. I agree. I mean, look.
I think it's more the money than the one and done.
Yeah, you eat ramen noodles, you want to get paid.
As soon as you come into the league, if you're first, let's say top 5 pick, right? You already get $40 million off the jump. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
And almost more times than not, the best player of that draft is normally the top 10 pick. Like 1 through 10 is the best player coming up. Mm-hmm. And the 15th guy on the bench now is getting $10 million.
Right.
You know, like
right.
They're getting $2 million a year. Where Michael Jordan was getting $2 million a year as the best player on the court.
Right.
You know, like these guys were getting $500,000 as the best player on their team.
Right.
Like,
which is why I believe that the NCAA needs to start considering playing these players, because then we'll get a better product. If I can pay you and for like the whole argument about school is free. I mean, Adrian Foster came out and said it's fucking hard to be a student athlete. It's very difficult. Okay. Yep. So it's bullshit. And when my name is Reggie Bush, but my name is not on the back of jersey, but it says 25 and you're selling you're selling 5 jerseys. Listen, no one came to see the chess team fucking play this weekend. They came to see USC, UCLA, motherfucking Oklahoma. I can't name all the fucking dope schools right now, but anything in Florida, anything in Texas, and anything in Southern California. We need to pay these guys. Pay them a little bit so they're not so fucking thirsty to go into the NBA. And a lot of these agent companies are fucking jerk-offs because they're like, hey, sign with me and we'll get you into the NBA automatically. Because Anthony Davis, no offense, you weren't going to be jack shit if you didn't team up with LeBron James. And the last 5 top 10 players that have came out, you know who the best players come out of? They come out of Europe. Okay, they do not come out of fucking college basketball. Because these guys are ready to pass, ready to shoot, and ready to perform like nobody's business. But I agree with you. It's a very scary thing where now the passion for the game is like kind of disappeared in that regard. Where you don't see dudes that are just 100% committed to dominating. And you can take a shot at LBJ. Because the killer instinct that Kobe Bryant had, that Michael Jordan had, even on Patrick Ewing, LBJ is not the same.
No. I was thinking about this too the other day too. Like, there's no more like Kobe was the last guy.
Yes. Who,
when you went to the visiting team's stadium, you heard Kobe. If you were in Chicago, they were saying that. If you was in fucking Phoenix, they were saying that. Any stadium you went to, they were saying Kobe.
He was selling
MVP.
tickets for the other team.
Exactly. there's none of that anymore. There's none of that aura or mystique or nostalgia of, you know, like seeing these other.
Could it be that we're just like oversensitized in the sense that now YouTube has the NBA games, the internet has, like before, maybe the only way you could see was an ESPN highlight, or if you bought the NBA package, right?
I think we're falling into this weird space where greatness and winning a lot is frowned upon, and there's a weird space we're in.
I tell people all the time, we don't like winners, we like losers. That's why everybody roots for the fucking underdog.
Exactly, and I don't get it.
And everybody was like, he's horrible, it's terrible. Why? I want somebody else to win. Listen, well then you're not trying hard enough, because homeboy's committed 100%. And you know what? I already made a $25 bet with someone. He will be back in the building next year. Until homeboy is literally broken and abused, Tom Brady will be on the fucking...
Oh, Tom Brady's coming back already.
Facts. No, but not come back. I mean, at another Super Bowl level caliber season.
Oh, for sure.
Homeboy does not fuck around. We don't play games. We're serious about this.
He watches film. He loves to watch film, which most guys get tired of watching film. The one thing that all the greats, I just can't do meetings no more. I just can't watch film anymore. Like, I'm out. He loves to do the thing. He has fallen in love with the process of getting there, of being great and watching and improving and making sure he's at top notch.
So maybe we can, transfer a little bit of that to the NBA, where, are these guys enjoying being superstars rather than being champions? Right? Because we gotta go to the club. We gotta get the Instagram biddies. We gotta be chilling. We gotta look fly. Everything is about the image. It has nothing to do about winning.
Everything's about branding, making as much money as you can.
Look at Blake Griffin. We were just talking about homeboy. I thought Blake Griffin was going to be sensational.
He went to Detroit and just
Bye, bro. He jumped over. He had one great slam dunk contest and just never, ever, ever lived up to that hype ever again. And it's crazy.
It's sad to say because they promised him that they're gonna because he's a free agent. And the Clippers promised him, you know, you're gonna be the face of the franchise. You're gonna take us to the next level. And the very next year they trade him. You know, like, and that just shows players that player empowerment. But like, he's not bitching. He got $190 million contract.
Yeah, he chilling.
So like,
right.
Like, you're not gonna be mad making $180 million
100%.
that they traded you when they promised something to you.
Right.
You know, like, it just
well, you could just in the same argument, you could take a shot at JJ, right? You got all the money. Are you really committed for the brass now?
I thought that JJ Watt signing was the dumbest signing that a Hall of Fame caliber player could have.
They made it seem like homeboy. like the Cardinals were a lock. I'm getting my Vegas guy on here in a couple weeks. I want to know the odds of the Cardinals winning the Super Bowl because it's got to be super low.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially now that the best defense got a quarterback. Because I think that the team to beat in that division are the Rams.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I like the Rams. I like Matthew Stafford. He's gonna have
He's gonna cook. He's gonna cook. He's gonna cook fools like crazy. They're one like good running back away and one amazing wide receiver. Like if they got Juju Smith-Schuster, that team would be phenomenal, right? Like if they got a guy like that who checks all the boxes.
OBJ. Go get OBJ.
Me and him.
I will go get OBJ.
I know they don't like. Well, actually, it was AB. I think if you get both of those dudes, that would be amazing. Because now you get an underneath and then a dominant guy downfield. But for me, OBJ
the Cooper Kupp
hasn't been dope.
Guy.
I know that. But now, they be loaded. Because remember when they were able to spread it out wide when golf first came into the building, when they had it was Brandon Cook, it was Cooper Kupp, and it was my other man Robin Woods. They were able to move a lot more. You need like three guys. You need a mid-range guy, you need a short guy, and then you need a deep guy. And you just fuck with teams on those levels all day. That would be interesting. But for me, on the OBJ stuff, his numbers have been trashed the last 3 years. I gotta see it. I know he's been injured.
He's been hurt.
I know he's been. But again, you know, my shout out to Uncle Salty. The best ability is availability. You need to stop going to the goddamn clubs or taking pictures on boats with your teammates and stop fucking causing problems and just show up. I mean, I thought the worst thing to show me who OBJ really was, you put on a polo, you buzz your hair down a little bit, you can tell the organization you're going to kill it. You just sign a massive deal and like in an hour you start acting up again. Come on, bro. Because
True.
You don't have no integrity.
NFL,
you don't have integrity.
The NFL paints him as a villain because like you got no control.
Yeah, I get it.
You got no control over the cameras. Like
right.
he's a polarizing figure
100%
in the NFL, but you got no control over the cameras always having on you.
Listen,
every single pass,
I agree.
every single play.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not mad at a guy that's like breaking shit, but it's like a pitcher. The pitcher who goes into the dugout and punches the wall with his right hand. I'm like, you're a moron. Okay,
But like the injury where he broke his ankle, like that was a horse collar tackle.
Yes,
like you can't control that.
Right? No, agreed. And that's fucked up because that should be an immediate ejection. It shouldn't
even with his ACL,
it ruined T.O.'s career. Because after he got that shit, he could have been amazing as an Eagle, and that fucking horse collar ruined his shit.
And even when this year, OBJ got hit with when the DB went straight for his knees. Like that's one bad luck, and two, it was just I think a bad hit because they when they see OBJ, people think he's soft, so they try to get under his skin and push him because players are envious of him all around the league. He's a good looking kid, he's marketable, and he's fucking nice.
He is nice.
Like I said, I think he's the only person I've ever seen.
He could have been the next Deion Sanders. He could play two sports. That's how much skill homeboy has.
Yep.
But you got to also have some self-control too, man. You know?
I think he was young when he did the shit with the Giants, and I just thought he was going to go to a better situation with Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield wasn't mentally tough.
Right. It's hard. When you got, I don't want to call him a diva, but Woody always talks about it.
If I'm the Packers, I'll go trade for OBJ.
Facts.
You have Devontae on one side, you have OBJ on the other side. What you going to do?
You have problems. You have a lot of fucking problems.
So I just think he's in a bad spot in Cleveland. They're running like a really college offense. Run, play action, over the middle.
Right, very basic shit.
Yeah, so like you wasting OBJ's talents in that system.
I'm surprised they didn't trade him, or he's not even on the block.
Look at Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen under Stefanski. They were tight. They were like, "Yo, throw the fucking ball, throw the ball." And now look at Justin Jefferson, Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year.
Look at Diggs. Diggs goes to fucking the Bills. Fucking
Buffalo has almost 1,600 yards.
Yep, emerge. Keep emerging.
Exactly. So like, what if you put OBJ with Kyle Shanahan, or you put OBJ, you go and put him with go to Jacksonville and put him with
Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence coming
that
in.
might be a problem because if he folded or if Baker Mayfield folded, you don't want to fuck up Lawrence right out the gate.
Yeah, but Trevor Lawrence is 6'6" with a cannon.
Right, he's an animal.
Baker Mayfield is 5'10" and a half.
He's my height playing football.
Exactly. So like, there's levels to the shit.
It's facts.
If you send him, let's say you go back to New York, go to the Jets with Deshaun. If you do that,
he needs a strong QB to grab him.
Exactly.
Like if it's even if he went anywhere, if he goes to the Saints, with Breeze, if he goes to now, I mean, I don't know if he would do good as a Colt because homeboy still got to work on his shit. But you give him Aaron Rodgers, you give him Ben Roethlisberger, you give him a Drew Brees or Deshaun Watson. That would be great. I think Deshaun Watson, rekindling the relationship.
Or
of
even
OBJ
if the
in New
Jets
York.
go and get Russell the Love Muscle, you go get OBJ.
Oh my God!
You go get OBJ. You're gonna get Russell Wilson. There's things and there's ways.
So you still believe you could resuscitate this guy's career?
I think so. I think you get him in a spot where, I know he talked for whatever reason he talked shit about Eli, but he's had his best years.
I was just gonna
Eli.
say, I look all the numbers. I looked it up the other day because we were talking shit. His numbers were amazing with Eli Manning. Eli Manning put him on the map. Whatever you say, he was limited. He couldn't run. He was old. Eli Manning threw you the rock like nobody's business. Didn't even give a fuck. Double covered, single covered, no covered. Just go get it, bro.
Yep. And you dropped a couple of passes. You had a situation where you guys could have went to the NFC Championship, and you flop chop, dropping a ball on third down, and then everything went downhill from there.
I also think my biggest problem with OBJ is that I've seen him do a lot of big plays. I don't see him doing the dirty work plays. And that's why I say he's limited in my mind, in my eyes as a scout looking at him. You don't see OBJ killing it on a comeback route or slant route. I mean, he's had a couple. I'm not saying that he doesn't, but that's not his bread and butter. His bread and butter is over the top. His bread and butter is over the top.
I've never seen a receiver take a slant and go to the house as much as he does. Look up OBJ highlights. Look up OBJ highlights.
I know he's got wheels.
He does a slant to the crib. Slant to the crib.
But I've seen Devontae Adams do that shit. And I've seen...
Not a slant to the crib. Not Devontae Adams.
No.
A slant to the crib, 65, 70 yards. No.
I'm going to look it up.
I'm telling you, he has sneaky speed that he's a game changer. He's a game changer.
100% I agree.
I just think he just had a run of bad luck and was in a system that wasn't for him in Cleveland. Him and Jarvis are kind of like the same height, and
they kind of almost play the same position in a lot of ways.
I thought Baker Mayfield's arm isn't big enough to make deep plays, or
especially in the cold
comeback route. Exactly. Yes. That's why you go get a big guy. That's why, I agree with Colin Cowherd. Is you got a lot of these northern cities with football teams. You got to go get a big, strong guy.
I agree.
You just got to. Has nothing to do with if Baker Mayfield was Josh Allen, he'll be cooking.
Facts.
Because he in Cleveland, but that's why Josh Allen is cooking, in the Bills, because he has a fucking rocket, and in the cold in New York, he can still sling the rock.
No problem.
Break right through the wind.
Yep.
No problem.
Yep.
So that's how we're looking at that.
All right.
With OBJ.
Okay, so we're gonna move on really quickly. We'll spend 10-15 minutes on this. We'll go through it, and like I said, I still haven't really found it the title yet for the segment. But with this one, we're gonna call our thoughts on up and coming films. So Coming to America is coming to Amazon Prime on Friday. I think it said March 3rd or 4th or 5th. I think it's March 5th. So tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow releases. Are you with me before we get into 2? Coming to America, one of the greatest movies of all time, right? The one.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yes.
What are our expectations on 2? Did they break the? Did they put the ceiling so high that they're not even going to be able to put it back?
I hope is not a lot of forced comedy. I think Eddie Murphy is such a genius that I hope whoever wrote on the script with him, or whoever wrote the script, I know that they brought back majority of the original cast, but
Which is basically Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy because they played all the characters.
So like watching the show, remembering Coming to America 1, and the comedy just flowed.
It was
like,
very good.
Went with the show. Like watching the trailer, there was a little bit of forced punchlines and the camera snapping onto a certain like, oh my god, funny kind of moment where it's kind of forcing the comedy. Where in Coming to America, this shit was fucking jokes. Like it was just natural, just flow. And I'm just scared that expectations are really high. You know, because I respect Eddie Murphy, but like for the most part,
he hasn't done nothing in a long time.
Like some of his movies are not that dope.
Right.
Like The Nutty Professor Street, fire.
That was probably like the last fire.
You know, like that he did that mansion shit with Disney.
That was terrible.
That was kind of dookie.
Dr. Doolittle.
Dr. Doolittle was funny, but
no, terrible.
The only other movie I really liked that he did when he was a little older, Daddy Daycare. That shit was fire. For a funny movie, just being because I was a stay-at-home dad too, so I understand that.
I think that it also had like zero expectations, so that could have also been why it was good, right?
Exactly. So like Coming to America 2, I just hope they don't drop the ball on this, and it's a funny movie, and I hope that he does it justice. I hope. I always thought about this too, like whoever the screen testers are. And if your movie comes out and it's trash and you're still using the same screen testers, you need to fire those screen testers.
Yeah, for real.
Because I don't know what it is with these movie companies launching these whack ass movies. I don't know what it is.
I gotta say though, at least with Amazon, right, like their movie production company, they hardly ever drop the ball. And lately they've been winning Oscars from a production value standpoint, right? Like Borat just won the Emmy, and that was an Amazon film. They had a couple of other ones that had won they've had more serious shows and that have been better. I don't know how well their comedy. It looks like Netflix has like the handle on the comedy front because Netflix, has like
they have Adam Sandler.
Right, that's what I was gonna say.
Adam Sandler's the golden goose.
Right, for them, they're just fucking printing money. But this is gonna be. I mean, I'm surprised they waited so long because this movie would have probably been. I'm not gonna say better, but you should have released it during Black History Month. Like, why didn't you release it in February and not March? You had a little bit more galvanizing of a following with it.
Pretty sure some corny woke executive would have been like, "Oh my god, this is social. This is insensitive."
That's true. We had the Black History Month. I mean, Black History should be all
black
year.
Customer and exploit black culture
But
and
I didn't read the whole thing, but I didn't even think about this. But I don't think except for those two guys that were homeless, it's pretty much an all black cast. I think this one is an official tissue all black cast. So I don't know. We'll see. I tell you like this.
I'm tempering my expectations.
Yeah, bro? Listen, after $100 million movie didn't hit for me, I'm definitely. I mean, right now Hollywood is fucking up big time because they haven't dropped nothing that's of interest. All right, so both you and I are going to be giving our reviews of this film next week, but we're not going to get too crazy on how amazing it's going to be. I already think that the story plot is a little weird, that he had like a kid with another girl, and then that's how the whole story is about.
We're talking about Judah and the Messiah.
No. We're talking about Coming to America. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He has like a kid when they were like cruising for chicks in Queens. I guess he slept with one of the girls, and then
I feel like it's gonna be like a cheesy.
Right.
That's the only thing I'm scared about.
yeah,
like it's just
gonna
like
totally go that way. And how could it not be blaxploitation, right? That's another thing too, right? But I guess that's what was made it so funny in the first one. All right, we're gonna move on. It's funny that I didn't mean to do this on purpose, but anyways, I wanted to get your thoughts on also another film that'll be coming out pretty soon, the new Space Jam, with LeBron James. My first question is, what were your thoughts on the first Space Jam? Because I feel like people think like this movie was so great, and I was like, it wasn't that great.
I
thought it was funny-ish. I think Michael Jordan's not a great actor.
No, I thought it was good just for what it was at the time it came out.
It was an interesting concept for sure.
Yeah, it was just like I don't know how segueing to Space Jam 2 is gonna be like. How are you gonna make it dope? I thought it was a weird trying to make a part 2.
I don't know why we keep trying to go back to the well. Like, do we run out of? Maybe you and I should start writing scripts, bro. Because it seems like they got nothing left in Hollywood. All they keep doing is resuscitating these old franchises. Like, if it was a slam dunk, leave it alone. Like, now when I think back at Space Jam, right? If 2 sucks, I'm gonna remember Space Jam 2, not Space Jam 1. If Coming to America was dope 1, now I see 2, I'm gonna remember 2, and I'm like, it was terrible.
Yep. Because it's
and LeBron James is a terrible actor too.
Yeah, 2's never come out as good as 1 anyway.
Right.
Like, it's so hard to make 2 good. Like, there's a very few films that 2 was better than 1. Very few films.
It's a handful.
And like Space Jam to begin with, like
was already a reach.
It was already a reach. The first one, like it was just a bunch of you had these
Bill
elite
Murray.
athletes.
Yeah.
You had Michael Jordan, this fucking phenom. Just taking advantage of the 90s.
Yes.
Taking advantage of the nostalgia. Like, that's what makes Space Jam fire. Like, LeBron doesn't have that.
Right.
Doesn't have the it. Just Michael Jordan was like.
He was basketball.
And a lack of better terms of a god amongst men.
Yeah.
Like, he was so freaking polarizing. And LeBron isn't that. Except for me anyway. LeBron isn't that.
No, I could agree with that.
And I hope I'm a
Would
big.
it have been better to do it with a no-namer, like a
I don't think they should have done that
lesser
at all.
basketball player? Okay. Did you ever see that movie with Kyrie where he played the old man?
That movie was funny.
That movie was super funny.
That movie was funny.
So that's what I was saying.
Uncle Drew.
Yeah. What if you put like a Kyrie as a Space Jam? It looks like Kyrie has a little bit more movie magic than a LeBron James.
But again, that was like very minimal, like kind of acting. It was just him on makeup. It was just a lot of funny little things. You had Shaq in there. Shaq was funny too. Shaq is a character unto himself.
That movie was comedy.
Yeah, exactly. So it was written by a comics. It was a fun little family friendly movie. Like, and it was a different concept. Like, it was a different thing. You got a lot of these older guys coming back to play to whatever
win a
tournament.
Yeah.
But like, I'm trying to think of what can the concept be. Is it going to be they're going to, like, the NBA players are going to lose their magic again? Another alien invasion coming back? Like, what is it concept going to be? What are you going to do that was different from Space Jam 1? Because I feel like they're going to just go right back to the well. Those guys are probably going to come back. He escaped whatever moron mountain. The fat guy, he's gonna come back with another squad of aliens. They're gonna take probably Damian Lillard. I think he's in the movie. They're gonna take his powers and shit. It's gonna be something corny like that again. Like, you already done that. Like, and that's the issue. Like, I was having with the Flash. I don't know if you've ever seen the Flash on the
TV show. Yeah.
The TV show.
I thought it was fire. Like, what happened now? I haven't watched it in a couple seasons.
Past season 3, I stopped watching because they kept going back to the well. They kept going back to different characters that were doing the same exact thing.
Or whatever that guy's name is.
So you had Reverse Flash, then you had Zod, then you have Black Flash, then you have Super Flash, then you have Ancient Flash. You have this guy coming back like 6 different times. Like, I'm over going back in time, coming back, going to the future, going back to the future, going back to the, like, it was a lot of the same shit. And I'm not going to keep watching something that is the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, as somebody who was a tough critic in cinema, I have a very big expectations for people who are trying to put out creative work. And if you put out something that's shitty, you're gonna get especially for me, a bad review, because you gotta see it for me. I see a film for what it is, as a plot, as an exciting arc of like trying to get into a creative mind of somebody else. And when you drop something that's dookie, your expectations drop, and you're like, "Fuck! I just had to sit through an hour and a half, 2 hours for this," and it just blows my mind, man.
No, I agree. Okay, so we're 2 for 2. We're not we're tempering our things. It's weird though, because like another film, like I was telling you before, that the Warner Brothers is going to be dropping, because now what? It's going to be an interesting movie of an interesting month for movies for March, because they're going to drop this tomorrow, Coming to America, and then on the 24th they drop Justice League. And so, yeah, and then Space Jam and the only reason why I bring up Justice League is because Space Jam and Justice League are under Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers continues to at least keep us a little happy with streaming everything straight to home, and I thought that's pretty cool. But
what did you think about the Justice League trailer?
I think it's gonna be interesting only because they're gonna basically re-edit the way the film was originally involved, and the person who had the original sight for it is going to be with it. I mean, I don't think for the most part Zack Snyder has done a bad film. I did like Watchmen. I did like Man of Steel. I think Batman versus Superman, the extended edition that was like 3 and change hours, was probably a little bit better than the original. But we've also agreed that DC and Warner Brothers cannot figure out how to get out of their own way. Go ahead.
I think Snyder isn't a guy who should have done any of the superhero movies.
The problem is that, did you see Watchmen?
Yes. Even Watchmen, it was fired, then
it's obscure.
Dragged.
It's obscure, right.
I think that is the problem. Marvel has it on the head.
That's what I was going to say. That's a problem. They keep on getting roasted on YouTube because everybody keeps comparing Thanos to this version of what's this dude's name? Darkseid. And you could tell right off the gate that, yeah, okay, we reshot it, we redid it and everything like that. I understand that part. But the graphics are not as solid. Like, whatever Marvel's doing, whoever they get their fucking graphics from, like when they made Iron Man, that was ground fucking breaking. And they have never went backwards since then. The way Hulk looks has been crazy. All their special effects went crazy. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I think the first run of Justice League was weak sauce, but they got Josh Whedon supposedly was the greatest thing since sliced bread because he fucking directed Avengers 1. I actually like the brothers better that did Avengers 2, 3, and 4. I forget their names right now, but they also did Extraction with Chris Hemsworth on Netflix.
Russo Bros, isn't it?
Yeah, the Russos, Joe Russo, and I forget his brother's name. But those fuckers they're great. There's not.
That's what I thought it was like watching the trailer. I think they like whoever the execs are at Warner Brothers, they want so much dramatic effects as opposed to having solid CGI, realistic, movements and stuff like that. Because you ever seen some of the behind the scenes of Justice League or like Wonder Woman and stuff like that? It's all of it is super duper extra. And Marvel, you look behind the scenes of Marvel, they keep it really simple. They don't over exaggerate things. They don't put fucking thunder and lightning and all this nonsense, extra smoke and spinning and fighting.
I thought it was crazy that he started to even introduce like a dream world. Right? Like, so you don't even know what part is the movie. Are we fucking dreaming? Are we awake? The only way we know we're dreaming is because the background is orange versus the real world. And then there's just so many different stories that are coming in. Like, I think that's the problem. They can't write a good story. Now, I'll tell you this. Warner Brothers is going to hit the shit because I don't know if you've seen the new Batman trailer. That movie looks like a fucking slam dunk.
No, when did it come out?
It hasn't come out yet. They're shooting it for 2022, but there's an official trailer for it, and it looks amazing. I mean, they got legitimate characters, and it was a lot more grounded the way it was written. But some of this other stuff is just not. It's not so grounded. And Kevin Feige, bro, that dude should get an award on his own.
I think they need to hone down on everything else and. Batman was already great. Like Batman was done already. I know Christian Bale's not coming back, but they should have just left Batman what it was, let the story where it was at, and focus on everybody else, and then worry about reshooting Batman. But now you want to reshoot Batman. Now they're talking about reshooting Superman again.
Which one?
Reboot Superman again.
Oh,
they're gonna
yeah,
reboot it.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Like,
they want to bring back, of course.
You keep trying to jump all over
That's
the
what
place.
I was telling a friend of mine. I'm like, okay, cool. You have such a gallery of characters, right? And the only thing you keep giving me is Superman and Batman. That's all you got. That's all you got. There's so many other fucking characters in the space. I mean, they fucked up Suicide Squad. Apparently, Jared Leto's gonna make a cameo in this new Justice League, which is gonna be interesting. But again, it's just too much. Warner Brothers right now, they're doing a lot of great stuff for the people that are staying home. I really, really do enjoy my HBO Max subscription, but there's just too many hands involved, and they already pissed off Nolan, and he ain't fucking with them no more, so they fucked. Yep. I want to get one more before we dip out here. I know you enjoyed for twos. It was very hard. Did you enjoy Borat 2?
Yeah.
It wasn't as good as one. Right?
No, of course not. Because you know what it is? He was so polarizing in part one that I felt like it was hard for him to try to get people who didn't know who he was already.
Oh, you mean to try to sneak around and punk
exactly
cats.
Because he's so polarizing. People already knew who he was.
He already put it in the movie that when he was in Texas, the guys were like they recognized him already.
Yeah,
they already recognized him. Pulling that shit.
It's tough to try to get around when you're that. Because remember, he did Borat 1, and then he did Bruno.
That was two great films.
And Bruno was fucking like crazy.
Over the top.
Super over the top. But you have two big-ass polarizing films.
I'm surprised he never tried to do the Ali G shit. Because they don't know. A lot of people don't know that Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen is great, bro.
But he got people remember like put two and two together after Borat when the people used to be like, oh, he used to be Ali G. So now you had like, what outfit is he going to be able to put on that he's going to look different? It's going to be.
Do you think he should have? Do you think he should have tried to maybe came up with a new character and still had it as Borat, but had it like Borat slash?
I think so.
Right.
I think he should have made a whole nother character, a whole nother avenue of something else. Because like he has Bruno, he has Ali G. You had Borat, and I think he could have got something. Maybe this concept would have been dope if he would have never wasted it. And it would have been just this Borat and going to try to get, to the White House and shit like that. I just thought.
I can't believe he was able to punk Giuliani, though. That was comedy.
But that was a funny ass scene, but it was a little dishonest too when they try to make him seem like the shorty tried to suck his dick kind of thing.
I know that was weird because she was pushing up on him, but yet they were trying to make it seem like he was
pushing up on her.
Right.
Like, I feel like that's just a little dishonest, because he bats for the left, and you.
I know it was a little.
It's a little dicey because you're not like you're trolling, but
right.
You're in this weird state when the movie does comes up. It's election year,
right?
You're trying to make somebody look bad who already is with the Trump linked to the Trump administration, and the Trump administration already fucking taking on water on the ship. So, it's a little bit dishonesty.
I tell you this though, there were parts that were funny. I don't know if it was worthy enough to win an Emmy though. But what I do want to say is, this is the movie that he should have not won for. He should have won for the Chicago 7. That fucking movie is brilliant. Every time he talks, Sacha Baron Cohen is the fucking man. Smart, intelligent, intellectual, understands how to play with thoughts and ideas. And man, he was just so good in that movie, bro. I just can't continue to say how amazing I was. I think it won too. Also, I should say. It won something. I forget what it won, but it won an Emmy. Like, he was killing it in the Emmys. I think he won for like actor, he won for movie, and then he won for like comedy or some shit like that. I forget how the Emmys structure it, but all three of those films got, a recognition. But he is a marvel. I just wish that maybe he would have, because Borat 2, like I said, and then the girl, I was like, what are we doing here? She was in it.
That's what I'm saying. It was just a little bit over the top that didn't need to be. Some of it again got forced, but I think he was at a challenging point because people knew who he was.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he had to force some things in there, probably reshoot a few things, take some things out to kind of get around people knowing who he is.
I definitely think though he should put the Borat shit away because obviously he could handle being a serious actor in Hollywood. And I don't know if you ever heard any of his speeches or anything like that. The dude fights for justice and freedom and the right way. I'm not going to say the American way because the American way is confused now, but the right way. And I just wanted to, shout him out. I'm super impressed by him. I'm super impressed by his diversity, that he could do comedy and drama so well. And he punked some really good people and they were funny. I mean, the first one was so good. It was so good. So this is about we're coming to the end here, guys. Did we get any comments?
Just Lucho was in here. Said respect to the Kings.
Oh, nasty.
For the most part, but we're getting back on track. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. And we're moving. We're moving and grooving.
Yes. So everybody, stay safe and stay healthy. Take it easy.
All right. Take it out.